Well, it has been a delayed start to the night, but welcome to tonight's live commentary coverage of the 2024 Coca-Cola 600. As we have the full live commentary, of course, for you guys well, maybe not the full live commentary, but live commentary from here to the finish on the channel for you guys right now. Of course, the Indianapolis 500 just wrapped up. We had full flag-to-flag coverage of that race. Congratulations again to Joseph Newgarden for winning Coke 600. I have no clue exactly what has happened in this race. I don't know how many cautions we have had, so I will go and refresh myself down at the bottom. Looks like we've had two yellows so far. Lap 86, a J.J. Yaley spin in the 66 car. And then lap 100 was the end of the first stage. Remember, there's an extra stage on the line in this one, so 4 stages, all 100 laps each. As of right now, these green flag stops means that they can make it to the end of like this. You got Christopher Bell in the lead, Brad Keselowski second, Bubba Wallace in third, William Byron fourth, Ross Chastain fifth, Denny Hamlin in sixth, Chris Buescher seventh, eighth place for Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick ninth, Alex Bowman is 10th, 11th for Michael McDowell, Martin Truex Jr. in 12th, 13th is Daniel Hemrick, 14th Josh Berry, 15th is Daniel Suarez, Noah Gragson 16th, John Hunter Nemechek 17th, Austin Cindric 18th, Carson Hocevar 19th, and Chase Briscoe 20th. Ty Gilliland in 21st, Eric Jones 22nd, Chase Elliott 23rd, Kyle Busch 24th, Ryan Preece 25th, Shane Van Gisbergen in 26th, Justin Allgaier 27th, Joey Logano 28th, Harrison Burton 29th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 30th. Jimmy Johnson is 31st. 32nd is Zane Smith, Austin Dillon 33rd, Justin Haley 34th is the last car in the lead lap. 35th place is Kaz Gralla, Corey LaJoie 36th, Ty Dillon 37th, BJ McLeod 38th. Ryan Blaney was stuck on pit road right when I turned the race on. Not sure exactly what the issue is there, but he is 14 laps down and still on pit road, while JJ Yaley rounds out the field. He apparently DNF'd early in stage 1 and, of course, had that spin. Actually, it was the 66th car, BJ McLeod, who had the spin. JJ Yaley in the 44 had a mechanical failure, it looks, and is off the racetrack. He did not make a lap in practice or qualifying, so I kind of assumed he wasn't going to make all the laps in this race today, and that seems to be the case. Midst of that happening, under a commercial break right now, and during the commercial break, a caution flag is out for incident for the first time in stage 2, our third caution of the race entirely. Up to this point from the pole, Ty Gibbs has led 75 laps. Our current race leader, Christopher Bell, has led for 31. William Byron led 28 laps. Ross Chastain has led 10. 7 laps led for Josh Berry during the green flag stops that just happened. 6 laps led for Michael McDowell during pit strategy, and as well, the 16 of Shane Van Gisbergen led 2 laps on strategy during the green flag stops that happened moments ago. So those are all the different drivers who have led. Actually, the 34 and 16 pit stops were back during the stage 1 green flag stops, but the stage 2 stops was where Berry led. 12 car of Ryan Blaney stalled out on pit road, which is the reason for the caution. And again, that has happened during the full screen commercial break. They are back from the break on Fox. I do have to let my phone charge up for a little bit. So, not going to have audio of the race for the time being. Be interesting to see who all pits as we just cycled through green flag stops like 10 laps or less ago. Appreciate everybody tuning in again. Just going live for the first time for the Coke 600. And a weird circumstance with the Indy 500 having a much delayed start time. Kyle Larson, of course, running the full Indy 500. Finished in the 17th place position, if I remember correctly. He had a pit road speeding penalty in the final 60 laps of the race while running top 5. So, tough break there. He'll be back to run the Indy 500 again next year, and hopefully gets that playoff waiver so he's playoff eligible still, which I'd imagine he would be. And he should be, in my personal opinion. Like, if you're in the playoffs on points, why do you have to run the full amount of races? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I can understand, a win, like having to run every race by way of points, but he's the points leader. He's not going to fall out of the top 16 at points. I feel like he should qualify for the playoffs anyway to sign off on it. I don't think he is going to be able to run this race. Justin Allgaier should probably, well, he's definitely going to get the points, so Larson's not going to get any points here. And if we look at the point standings coming into this one while we're under the caution period right now, this is what the standings look like coming into the night. So again, Kyle Larson was the points leader, but he is not here this weekend. He had a 30-point lead over Martin Truex Jr. with 2 wins, 6 top 5, 6 top 10s on the year for Larson. 649 laps led and 7 stage wins, which is also the most in those statistical categories than any other driver this year. Martin Truex Jr., who was 30 points back, the extra stage, has a good night tonight. He can take over that points lead. Denny Hamlin is currently sitting third in the standings, 39 points out of first. Chase Elliott had dropped a spot after last week with Hamlin moving up a spot. 49 points out of first is Elliott. Those are all the drivers within one race worth of points of Elliott coming into the day. 4 drivers within that many amount of points. As far as the drivers locked into the playoffs with a win, Larson has 2, sitting as the regular season points leader now. 15 playoff points is awarded to the regular season champion, so that's big if Larson loses the points lead here today. And really, overall, if he ends up losing the regular season championship by anything within really like 40 to 60 points, you'd have to look back at this race, him missing, as the reason why he might not win the regular season championship. But still, 12 races to go the regular season after this, so he does have time to make that amount of points up, even if he loses the lead. It's not even a guarantee he would lose the lead tonight. As far as the drivers, again, locked in with wins, Larson has 2. Kansas, Las Vegas on the mile and half tracks are his 2 wins. Denny Hamlin, William Byron have 3 wins this year. Byron's wins in the Daytona 500 at COTA and Martinsville. Short track wins for Denny Hamlin at Dover, Bristol, and Richmond, while Chase Elliott's lone win this season came on a mile and a half at Texas. 1 win this year at Talladega for Tyler Reddick. Christopher Bell has a win this season at Phoenix. Daniel Suarez early in the year won the 2nd race at Atlanta. And the most recent winner, Brad Keselowski, winning the throwback race at Darlington, was the last points race. Joey Logano, who won the All-Star race last week, with that being an exhibition race, did get $1 million richer with winning the $1 million grand prize, but does not lock himself into the playoffs and actually comes into this race still below the cut line as a result. He is currently 17th on the playoff standings, 18th rather on the playoff standings, trying to chase Chase Briscoe. 30 points out of that final cutoff spot is Logano. Drivers in the point standings without a win this season would include Martin Truex Jr., who's 2nd overall. Then you got Ty Gibbs 7th, Ryan Blaney 8th, Alex Bowman 9th, Ross Chastain in 10th. The bubble drivers for the playoffs as of right now, Chris Buescher is inside the cutoff line by 39 points. Kyle Busch is inside the cutoff line by 32 points. And Chase Briscoe again has that final spot on points by 30 over Joey Logano. Joey Logano is 30 points out. Bubba Wallace is actually the first driver below the cutoff line. Bubba is only 6 points to the negative, so a lot lesser margin for Buescher and Busch over Wallace. Apologize on that one. It was disorganized because of the driver standing. Suarez has a win, and so even though he's outside the top 16 of the driver standings, he would be in the playoffs. So Wallace, who actually is 16th in the driver standings, would technically be 17th in the playoff standings. So only that 8 points to the good for Kyle Busch, and only 15 points to the good for Chris Buescher. So very tight on that cutoff line. Logano again minus 30 would be 18th overall. Noah Gragson, who had a 30-point penalty earlier this season, is over a full race worth of points out of that cutoff line spot, but he keeps the consistency up that he has showed since the penalty. I think he still has a shot to point his way in. You just never know what could happen there. Austin Cindric is 20th in points, just a few points behind where Gragson is, and that is your full season update as to where the point standings are and the playoff standings are coming into this race here tonight. Martin Truex Jr. is going to be the race leader on this upcoming restart, it does appear. Josh Berry will be 2nd, as we had some drivers stay out of the pits, some drivers come onto pit road. So again, Martin Truex Jr. will lead, Josh Berry 2nd, Daniel Suarez 3rd, Chase Elliott 4th, Ty Gibbs 5th, Christopher Bell 6th, William Byron 7th, Brad Keselowski 8th, Bubba Wallace 9th, Alex Bowman 10th. That will be the top 10 with less than 40 to go in stage 2. And there is potential rain coming in later tonight. Now, that has been pushed back. I think potential rainstorm was looking to be at about 7 p.m. Eastern time. That storm missed the Concord, North Carolina area to the north. With that being the case, we should be able to get this race in tonight no matter what, because we are not that far from the halfway point to make this race official. Only have to get to lap 200. And the next rain looming, when I looked on the Weather Channel app right before going live for this stream about 15 minutes ago, that rain looks to not be hitting Charlotte until 9:45 Eastern time. So it's about an hour and a half from now yet until we see the rain. So will we get all 400 laps, 600 miles in? Don't know, but we definitely will get this race in tonight, past the halfway distance. But appreciate everybody again tuning in. Quick shout out to those of you that have tuned into the early going to this stream: Colt Trickle, Dave Martz, Acer India, Regine Huddleston, William Walton Jr., VP Stallat, JW Arizona, Stu Isaac, Colt Trickle, Mike G, Wade Solinsky, Jacob NASCAR, JoJo, Dan Bowers, Patrick Chatterley, Seth Myers, and many others. Welcome in. I have had the poll open for who you think will win tonight's race in the chat. 41 votes have been cast in that poll. I will leave that poll open until the end of stage 3 tonight, with not going live until just recently. So end of stage 3, the poll will end. Again, there are 4 stages total. 37% of you say somebody other than Reddick, Byron, or Elliott will win. 32% of the votes saying Elliott will win 2 races this weekend, because he did win the Xfinity race yesterday afternoon. William Byron has 20% of the votes, and 12% of the votes going to Tyler Reddick. Last year's winner, Ryan Blaney, of course, not going to be able to repeat with going laps down here, and his day more than likely over. He just brought out this last caution as well. I actually don't have picks, sleeper picks, must-have picks. I had a whole pre-race, planned for this one with the Indy 500 having a late start. I wasn't able to get a full pre-race show in. Usually for these Cup races, we go live half hour to 45 minutes for the drop of the green flag. My predictions for this race, my race win prediction was Chase Elliott. He's currently in the 3rd place spot as we're about to go green here. So my race win pick was Elliott. I did pick Joseph Newgarden to win the Indy 500, so trying to go for the sweep here today. That'd be awesome. As far as the don't have picks this weekend, I had Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, and Ryan Blaney. Blaney, done for the day. I'm right there. Logano, currently 21st. So far, so good on that. And Daniel Suarez in the 99, currently 4th. So he's proven me wrong in that regards. The sleeper picks coming into the race for the prediction side of things, I had Ty Gibbs, who started on pole. Was quick in practice. He is currently 6th and has led the most laps so far. Noah Gragson was on that list. He's had great runs, 1.5 miles, 2 top 10s there this season. Currently sitting in the 21st place position as of right now. And the last driver on the sleeper pick for this week would have been technically Ross Chastain. I base it off of if you have 5 career wins and you move ahead of that category. Chastain has 4 right now, so I would have had Chastain on that list. He is at the 14th place position currently as he searches for his first career top 10 in the Coke 600. The 3 must-have picks I would have had, obviously Chase Elliott with picking him to win. It was a coin flip between me taking either Elliott or Byron. Hendrick Motorsports has won on all 3 1.5 mile racetracks this season, so my theory was that Chevy and Hendrick Motorsports would go to victory lane again here today. Very confident that at least a Chevy will win, but between picking Byron or Elliott, the reason why I picked Elliott is because he's just been more consistent this season than Byron. Sure, Byron has 3 wins on the year, but he's got a lesser average finish than that of Elliott. Elliott seems to be up towards the front a lot more at the end of the races than Byron so far this year. And Elliott's had a lot more momentum as he has won more recently than Byron, who won his first 3 races before Elliott got his first win at Texas, which was on 1.5 miles. Byron has not won on an intermediate track this season. His only wins, super speedway, road course, short track. He has not won an intermediate track. Elliott has. He's had better finishes on the intermediate, so I went with Chase Elliott for tonight's race. So on top of Elliott and Byron for the must-haves, the only other must-have pick was Tyler Reddick, who started very deep in the field today due to failing pre-qualifying inspection yesterday on multiple occasions. His car chief was ejected. He had to start with a pass-through penalty at the beginning of this race. I knew he wasn't going to get a lot of stage points in stage 1 at least, but I knew he had a fast car. He qualified on the pole at least in the first session of qualifying. Another reason why I might have taken Elliott for the win is because he had better long run speed in practice as well. On the long run in practice, Chase Elliott actually had the fastest 20 lap average. So another reason why I took Elliott over Byron. Byron had good short run speed, but he only had 8 laps of practice. We didn't get to see his long run speed because of course, spinning in practice. But he didn't have any damage, not in the backup car. And Byron has just taken the race lead away from Chase Elliott now off of this restart. So that is kind of the update on the predictions. Everything that's happened so far in the race that I might have missed. The only thing I don't know what happened, you'll have to let me know in the chat, is who won stage 1. Because, again, the Indy 500 was going on at that time. When I tuned in during a late caution there, late caution and commercial break, it was that yellow for the 66 of BJ McLeod spinning. So I'm not sure who won stage 1. You'll have to let me know in the chat. But outside of that, I am up to date with what has happened in this race. So getting my phone back out. So again, Byron took the race lead away from Chase Elliott here recently. Staying nose to tail at the front of the field, and caution flag is out with 30 to go in stage 2. Big impact for Noah Gragson. On the back straightaway, he has hit the inside wall. Heavy damage to the Bass Pro Shops Ford. Well, at least Johnny Moore still has 2 more cars in the race, but tough to see there. Noah Gragson is going to be done for the day, and he was one of the sleeper picks, so there I'm 0 for 1 there on him getting a top 10. Let's listen in to see what happened.
Yeah, in the back, spinning. I don't know why. Yeah. There had to be contact with the inside of the wall. Hard to tell what happened right there, other than he was headed down the racetrack once we caught him. That will be done for the night. Yellow flags. Lap 100, of course, was the stage break, but BJ McLeod spun at lap 88. Lap 158 was the caution to move the Ryan Blaney car off pit road. And here we are, lap 172. And Noah Gragson, a hard hit to the inside wall on the back straightaway. Larry, where are we at on all of our tires here? This is starting to get dicey. Yeah, Kevin, we ran 6 laps, and you've got some drivers, like, for instance, Ty Gibbs, that he has an additional set over a lot of the guys up front. I think you're going to see the majority of people stay out here just simply because of how close to the end of the stage it is. Yeah, and as we see him working on Noah's car, it looked like from the SMT data that he started to come up the racetrack and may have just touched that door. We've seen a lot of these cars, if you just touch the door, it kind of just takes that car and shoots it sideways, and down the racetrack he went. We'll try to verify if there was contact between he and Ricky Stenhouse. A lot of times when you come off the corner, like they have a lot of wheel in trying to stay off the car on the outside of you, and if you get into it, it instantly responds to spin. Yeah, but there's a lot of what ifs there. Yeah, if you just barely touch that right front on the door. I did it last year here coming off of turn 4. Whoa. I watched that race back. You didn't just barely hit him. You hit him pretty hard. It felt like it was just a little bit. Most of the field was on pit road at lap 160. We'll see if there are any takers here. Pits will be open this time. Not even half. A lot of action. Not enough tires. A lot of problems. I started the race with 12 sets of new Goodyears and 1 set of qualifying cars. And it looks like most of the cars in the lead pack through about the 7th grade plates will stay out here. Truex in, hitting from 6th. First 5 did not stop. Most of the rest of the cars on the lead lap have come to pit road.
Oh, a little bit of buffering going on during the pit stops. Still having those storms passing through. I haven't mentioned on this stream yet, but all the storms that delayed the Indy 500 have been rolling through now in my house here in Northwest Ohio. That has been going on over the last hour and a half or so. So might have some slight buffering with the actual, maybe not the stream itself, but at least my viewing of watching the race.
4 and those guys 19 time get those tires. So we'll see if they can make any more. There's a contact.
Yeah, so Gragson had contact with another car side by side off the exit of turn 2, which caused his car to turn left towards the inside wall, and he hit head on and hard. But as of right now, we do stay under caution, and it'll be only the 4th yellow of the day, our second for incident in stage 2. We'll have less than 30 to go in the restart in a split strategy where half the field pitted, half did not, and most of the half that did pit were the drivers who stayed out during the caution before that because they had pitted later into the green flag run. So that has jumbled the field up a little more. Your top 5 for this next restart will be William Byron, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Christopher Bell. So that will be the top 5 when we get back to racing here. That aren't as much of Indy fans, whether it's the Indy 500 or not, and was just waiting for me to go live for the NASCAR race. Appreciate your patience, and thank you for tuning in after the fact here as well. Looking back in the chat, again, who won stage 1? I asked that in the chat a little bit ago. Looks like Byron. Okay, so Byron won stage 1. Thank you for that in the chat. A couple of you stated a little bit ago. So William Byron won stage 1. Don't forget, oh man, I forgot fantasy lineups lock at the end of stage 2. I haven't seen hardly any of this race, and we're almost at the end of stage 2. So yeah, don't forget the fantasy lineups do lock in the fantasy league. You can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com NASCAR.com website or NASCAR mobile app. So yeah, that's where we line up. Hugo Correa, thanks for tuning in. No, it's not the longest race by laps, but it's the longest by miles by 100. Larson should be in the air by now, yeah, for sure. The Indy 500 ended about a quarter till 8 Eastern time. I believe it was about a 2-hour flight for him, so I mean, he's not going to get here till a quarter till 10, more than likely. Get to the track a quarter till 10 and then get in the car at a reasonable time, probably during the caution, with Allgaier still in the lead lap. I think the plan is still for him to try to get in the car as long as the race is still running. But we don't know that the race is still going to be running at that time. I would like to think so. I mean, it's only about an hour, 15 minutes from now. And we're not even halfway yet. So he should get in the car at some point. And he has practiced and qualified that car already this weekend. So at least he has a feel for how it should handle. He qualified 10th yesterday. But obviously Allgaier starting had to bring him to the rear.
It has been for many, many years with that big pan on the leader, and is retiring at the end of this season after covering more than 2 million racing laps. The Indianapolis native, we want to wish a happy retirement. He will definitely be missed.
Yes, he will. That's hard work. You watch those cars come by 200 mile an hour. Watch how fast those guys work. Not only is they going side to side, they have to chase that thing up and down all over the place. I think they're heavy.
And zoom and focus at the same time.
Oh, by the way, yeah, those are two things.
All right, green flag back in the air. Turns 1 and 2 in the middle of the restart now as William Byron is out in front of the field off the exit of the corner. His teammate Chase Elliott battles Denny Hamlin side by side on the back straightaway for second. Elliott on the outside is going to be able to pull through and clear Hamlin into turns 3 and 4. Hamlin now door to door for third place with his teammate Christopher Bell. A lot of great action and multi-groove racing all weekend long from the very bottom of the racetrack to the very top through the Truck Xfinity and now the Cup race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway on this Coke 600 race weekend. William Byron trying to win the first 2 stages of the night. We've seen with this extra stage in place and stage racing came into NASCAR in 2017 that we have seen this one. After winning stage 1, he hasn't led the most laps, but has had good short run speed. And that can be crucial here with another late caution in stage 2, like we saw at stage 1 in the final 20 laps there. Currently 22 to go still in stage 2 on this side of things. Byron's opened up a half a second lead over Bubba Wallace, who gets the second now. And Chase Elliott's dropped from second to fourth on this green flag run. Your top 5 with 22 to go in the stage would be Byron in the lead. Bubba Wallace a half a second back in second. Christopher Bell is 9/10 of a second off the lead in third. Denny Hamlin, 1.1 seconds back and forth. And Chase Elliott is 1.1 seconds off the lead in fifth. Hamlin to the inside of Bell, battling for third. Hamlin slides up off the exit corner, can't get there. Elliott losing multiple positions again on the restart. Not only Hamlin got around him the last lap, his teammate Alex Bowman has passed him. Elliott now back to sixth after restarting second. Hamlin is almost clear of Bell. Bell with a great run on the high side is going to actually be able to blow the doors off Hamlin and clear him before getting down into turn one on the other end of the racetrack. .20 to go now in this second stage. Seabell, Denny Hamlin keeping that battle up for third. Hamlin seems to be a little quicker, just hasn't been able to make the pass yet. Meanwhile, at the very front of the field, Bubba Wallace is running quicker lap times than that of William Byron. Wallace about 1/10.5 quicker than Byron each of the last two laps. He's cut the lead to just 0.3 of a second. 23 is catching the 24. Justin Allgaier on the team communications right now. Honestly, off the top of my head, I think the last Cup start Allgaier had was it Indy 2020 when Johnson had COVID and missed a race? I think it was the Brickyard 400 2020. So I don't think Allgaier has driven a next-gen car until today, with no practice or qualifying in what is the longest race of the season. So odds stacked against Allgaier in that 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports, and large reason as to why he's back at 27. Chase Elliott settled in that 6th place position for now. Chris Buescher's moved up to 7th since the restart, just past Ty Gibbs, and now looking after Chase Elliott. Buescher wrecked in practice, had damage to his car, started at the back, didn't even get to make a qualifying lap, unlike Reddick, and has now made his way to the front. Furthest starting position of any winner of the Coca-Cola 600 that had ran all 600 miles in this long race is Mark Martin in 2002. 2002 Coke 600 winner Mark Martin started 25th and won the race. The furthest back, Kevin Harvick in 2011 started 28th. Mark Martin in 02 did start 25th, but Kevin Harvick is the furthest back starting position. Nobody started outside the top 30 and has won the Coke 600 outside of Jimmy Johnson in 03, but that was a rain-shortened win. They only ran 276 laps that day. So if the rain does come here at some point tonight, past the halfway point, maybe that creates a better opportunity for a driver who started outside the top 30 that have fast cars like a Chris Buescher or a Tyler Reddick to get the win. Luck has not been on Buescher's side as of late, but he has had fast cars, and another one here today. He's the highest running Ford, again, currently in 7th. Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, 3 Toyotas, another Chevy, top 5 in the manufacturer order, then another Chevy in 6, 2 Fords, a Toyota Ford, rounding out the top 10. Once more, only 3 cars out of the race so far, that being J.J. Yaley, Ryan Blaney, and Noah Gragson. 4 cautions total, 1 stage break, 3 cautions per incident, and that has led us to where we are at right now. 9 different drivers have led at least 1 lap in the race today. Lead Christopher Bell passed Bubba Wallace for second during the commercial break. And Bell, in fact, during this commercial break, is now taking the lead from Byron. So Bell gets by Wallace, gets by Byron. Christopher Bell now leads the Coca-Cola 600. Byron fading on the long run. He gets out to a good short run, but the Toyota's taking care of things on the long run. 24 team has had good pit stops, as they have had all season long, of course, as well. Not getting to practice that long run seems to be hurting him. Wallace all over that left rear corner panel of Byron in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Surprised Byron didn't get really loose there. Definitely tried to take the air off the rear spoiler. Wallace lifted more in the corner than the driver right behind him in line of Denny Hamlin, his boss. Hamlin now all over the back of both cars, and it's a 3-car battle for second with stage points on the line and being awarded in 10 laps.
And not away from William Byron. Cap remains constant. 10th of the Bubba Wallace second in the leaders. Benny Hamlin, Alec. In the chase for stage points at stage 2, Ross Chastain set to pick up the final point here. Yeah, maybe we're seeing a little shake in the armor with that 24 from that wall contact on the lane right here. Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, 5th place. Bowman's done a great job all night. He's been right around that 4th, 5th place point on the racetrack pretty much all night. So see how that progresses. Still a long ways to go. And these drivers are going to be a little bit surprised when they get to the end of the stage and take a deep breath and realize that that's only half the race. I know for me, when I was in this race, you get to halfway and it seemed like you've got to be kidding me. My goodness. And that last 100 miles, you have to be mentally prepared for that too, because your body clock is just not prepared for that extra 100 miles. It's like, what the heck are you doing? 17 did a good run. It's been a long time since Christopher Bell has been up front leading these races. Good feet up. Has the speed, Kevin. We cover it every week. He has the speed, just hasn't been able to put the finishes together. Maybe tonight's the night for the Coca-Cola 600. Well, we talk all the time. Speed fixes a lot of problems. You can make a lot of mistakes. You can screw up on pit road. You can crash your cars. You can do whatever you want if you have speed, because you can overcome that deficit in whatever race that all that stuff finally stops if you have the speed in the car. And they've had speed pretty much every week. 7 laps to go to halfway. The fight seems to be for second. Well, let's keep sticking swings. William Byron, but can't quite get alongside the 24. Byron's kind of down that same path that we just spoke up about Bell, right? It's the speed, just hasn't been able to put the fences together. One thing that I noted that he said and told in pre-race was kind of went back to our old ways, got back in the realm of our teammates with the setups, and lo and behold, here he is back up front leading laps. Pretty good. Like to update the 24 William Byron. We mentioned the damage and how the steering wheel was turned a little bit earlier on. He just now has got passed by Christopher Bell, came on to touch Richie Bruni Bingle. It's hurt. He may need to work on it here at some point. They're complaining about being rarely used to the right rear this run. That's certainly what we were worried about, especially when you heard that driver say that his wheel was off. You know that's that toe link. We've seen it before. We've covered that. That being said, Larry, I don't know. It's only halfway in this race. It's going to take a long time to fix it. Is that something we have to do? Straight away, Harrison Burton. That one's got a broken toe link.
Yep.
Crab walking down the track. The Wood brothers having trouble off turn number 2. A lot of right rear damage. The fuse are all messed up there. Laying frame as he comes across. He was running 49th. Here's what happened. As even the back of the screen lost it. He's got sideways all by himself. We talk about it at a lot of different racetracks, and I think the 3/4 mark in the corner when that car starts to turn, and if you've got too much wheel into it, he's running up there high. The question is, I don't see him hit anything, and you said that toe link was bent. I think he may have lost it because of toe link. That car behind caught a piece of the outside wall too on the way by. See, that was you, Kevin. Very good point, Clint. Well, might be from the flat tires. Yeah, I think. Let's see if they go to work on this toe link. You can definitely tell he's been in a wall on the right rear. Yeah, the way right rear back on. I look at the toe. I think that car was crab walking because the tire was flat. I don't think toe link's broke. Larry? Yeah, Clint asked me the question about the time Harrison spun about the 24 car's toe length. If you're going to do it, Do it now. Don't keep waiting because you're going to lose a lot of ground. You got to try to make sure to stay on the lead lap. Don't even wait till pit road's open. Just come and do it. And he says that, I think he's talking about his steering wheel being off, and it could be from the back, but I think it might have the front end knocked out, Clint.
I think definitely slapped the right rear when it went up. You could see it hit the right rear on the wall. I'm not saying it's not the right.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean,
you're gonna know if they come down and work on it. You'll know which end.
It could be either. But hearing him talk about the steering wheel position being off, it's definitely makes you think it might be the front
rear toe.
I don't think they're considering working on it. They're talking about air pressure changes and wedge this trip to pit road.
Yeah, they're in second. You don't want to give up. Yeah,
As fast as that thing is.
halfway through, I wouldn't want to give that up.
Now, on the back straightaway, and 2 to go in the stage. So pit road is closed, and it looks like we'll end this stage. Caution. And so these will be the stage results. Christopher Bell will get his 3rd stage win this year and his first in the Coca-Cola 6 ahead of Byron Wallace, Hamlin, Keselowski, with Bowman, Elliott, Berry, Chastain, and Reddick also receiving stage points.
So there it is. There's your top 10, as Mike Joy just stated over the broadcast, and all the drivers receiving stage points for Stage 2. Byron, your Stage 1 winner, finishes second in Stage 2, and Christopher Bell takes the Stage 2 win when they get to that green, white, checkered flag here and a couple laps under caution. We'll be halfway home in this race, which means that we will also have a stoppage and a moment of silence for all of the fallen servicemen and women in the United States military over the years, with this being Memorial Day weekend. NASCAR has been doing this, I think at least, I want to say it's been at least since like 2018 or 2019, they started doing this at the halfway point of this race. So something cool to just kind of give a, sound of silence, I guess, to those men and women that from outside forces. As far as this race goes so far, this is the 3rd different time Christopher Bell has led, and he has jointly led 43 laps today. 43 laps led for Christopher Bell. 21 cars, Harrison Burt, and who was just crashed off of turn 2. Hugo Correa, Amaroto. Now be sure to hit the like button. I don't know what I finished at for likes on the Indy 500. I don't think we got to that goal of 100. Obviously, this isn't the full race, so I don't expect to get to 150 like usual Cup races here. We're already halfway through, and we've only been streaming for about 50 laps or so, maybe even less than that. So appreciate, though, everybody that's tuning in for this live commentary stream nonetheless. It'll be a late Sunday night, per usual, on Coke 600 Race Night Weekend. As far as that goes, though, this is the final live commentary stream of the weekend. And now that we are at the end of Stage 2, we have our typical diecast showing, with this being the longest race of the season. If it went on in its fullest, I was going to have 2. Still will. We have an extra stage in there. Our first diecast showing will be a former Coke 600 winner, as we've been doing all NASCAR weekend long, and it did an Indy 500 winner during the Indy 500 run earlier today at the halfway mark there. This is a Jimmy Johnson 2003 Pride of America Lowe's paint scheme. This scheme was actually ran, and this diecast is from the 2003 Coke 600. It's a race win diecast. And yeah, it was the only rain shortened, or not the only rain shortened Coke 600, but it was the first rain shortened Coke 600 win in NASCAR history. Again, 2003, Jimmy Johnson had won that race. And again, this diecast from that race. So here you go. This is honestly my favorite Jimmy Johnson diecast too. So this is a car I really wanted to get when I saw it. And I believe I bought it at Bristol a couple years ago during the night race in 2021. One of the first diecasts I had bought of the 124 scale collection that I have right now. So figured I'd show that off tonight. It's Coke 600 weekend. Got the red, white, blue on the car, as many do in this race today.
Here's for Toyota. William Byron for Chevrolet. Toyota's Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin. And the first Ford is Brad Keselowski in 5th place. Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Josh Berry, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick getting stage points
At halfway, 300 miles complete here in Charlotte. As is the Memorial Day tradition, NASCAR is pulling the cars to pit road for a special Memorial Day weekend remembrance. Memorial Day, our most solemn holiday. America's military might stands ready, yet thankfully, their guns are silent. And so too in Charlotte, our engines are silent, so we may remember, reflect, and honor those who sacrificed all for our freedoms with this moment of silence. Thank you. Please remember to fly our flag proudly tomorrow. We'll be back to continue with the Coca-Cola 600 on Fox.
Pretty cool moment there. Wrapping up our halfway point here of the Coca-Cola 600. I think it's a pretty cool tradition. I remember, fans on social media mostly that were kind of like, oh, they have to stop the race halfway through it or whatever. They shouldn't have to do that. We got enough cautions as it is with the stage breaks, but I don't think you can really argue the great moment of silence that we've had on an annual basis, which has now been for at least 5 or 6 years uh, that this has happened for. With this being Memorial Day weekend and Indy 500 weekend, there's a reason I'm wearing what I have right now. I got the camouflage Ryan Blaney hat on. I usually wear this one during the Labor Day and Memorial Day race weekends. Maybe some other races throughout the year as well, like other like patriotic races, like when Atlanta was being sponsored by Folds of Honor. I would always wear this hat for it too. So wearing it this weekend. I got this shirt because John Menard being a part of the Indy 500 for so many years and of course, being a sponsor of Ryan Blaney, that's why I wear this Menards sponsored Ryan Blaney shirt as well this weekend. So the reason why I have the getup I have on specifically for this weekend in particular. But again, thanks for everybody staying tuned all the way through this stream. We'll take our first ad break of this live commentary stream. You're listening live to the Coca-Cola 600 on KRC. Up to 47 likes on the stream. Let's at least get that to 100 here tonight. Again, appreciate everybody that's tuned in throughout the course of both live commentary streams. Really, we've been streaming ever since about 4:30 this afternoon with the start of our Indy 500 stream. Took, what, 5-10 minutes off between streams, if that. Didn't even get up, like, refill my water or anything, so I might have to do that during the next time I actually play, like, green flag action for you guys from the broadcast. But for right now, I'll keep it here with my commentary for the time being. And again, we are at the halfway point. Pit road should be open this time by, and we will most likely have pit stops during this stage 2 break. And again, I won't close that poll for who you think is going to win the race until the end of stage 3 with us having this extra stage here today. 74 votes have been casted. 38% saying Chase Elliott will win, 19% saying Byron, 9% with Reddick, and other than those three at 34% of the votes so far. Again, 74 votes have been cast. So be sure to cast your vote. You have until the end of the third stage, which is lap 300 of 400, to get your final vote in. Again, pit road should be open this time by. I like the yellow, of course, with that caution coming in the closing laps of the stage for Harrison Burton spitting on the exit of turn 2. Leaders just making their way into turn 3. A mostly green first stage, slightly caution-filled second half of stage 2 leads us to where we're at right now. Only one non-caution for incident so far, which was a stage 1 break. 3 cautions for incident, of course, in the second stage. Corey LaJoie gets a free pass with this caution as well, and he will be back on the lead lap.
Anything over that is unacceptable, and any mistake. The racing and football field is second. It cost you hundreds of yards in the racetrack. It'll cost you track position. So,
well, Bubba Lawson, that car is good right now. Just a minor adjustment to get it on this run, but started to get free as the run went on. Ride quality started to get worse, especially up top as well. The 24 of William Byron, he is wagging the tail on exit, meaning it's a little bit too free, and he has to get the wheel straight extremely quick on exit, Jamie.
Practice up and fits from fifth and the 6th car. Rear security getting worse there. A little bit better center turn. 4 sticker tires here. They'll have 4 sets of stickers remaining.
Bell was 3 come out in the same. Chase Elliott picked up 3 spots.
Ty Gibbs up 7 positions on pit road, getting back into the top 10 on a 4-tire stop nonetheless. Great job by them. Of course, they won the pit crew competition at North Wilkesboro last weekend, showing that strong pit crew off again here today. And of course, had the number 1 pit box, which might have gotten a spot or 2 as well, but definitely credit to the pit crew for gaining as many as they did there. Again, Christopher Bell is the race leader, just waiting for a leaderboard to update when the leaders get back to the start-finish line this time by. Bell will be the leader under this caution period. Again, we are in the stage 2 break as of right now. With that being said, an update on the pre-race predictions, which I didn't get to you guys till mid-race. My race win prediction was Chase Elliott. He is currently sitting in the, I was going to say in the 4th place position. It looks like Ryan Preece actually stayed out of the pit, so Preece is the leader. He was the only driver on the lead lap that stayed out. So my win pick, Chase Elliott's in 5th. William Byron, a must-have, in 3rd. And Tyler Reddick, another must-have, is up to 7th. So 3 for 3 as of that right now. The sleeper picks, we just saw one of them wreck late in stage 2. That was Noah Gregson. He'll end up finishing 38th, so 0 for 1 there. The other 2 sleeper picks as of right now, Ty Gibbs is in 8th, Chastain 11th, just outside the top 10. As far as the don't have picks today, I believe I'm 3 for 3 on that as of right now. Ryan Blaney is out for the day. He'll finish 39th. Joey Logano is still back in 23rd. He's been struggling with his car all weekend. He was very loose all day. Yesterday, practice qualifying was 28th fastest in practice. Qualified 28th, and I believe he's been running pretty much around 20th or worse most of this race so far. Still trying to get it fine-tuned. Still got a ways to go. We'll see if he gets the top 10, but again, I'm predicting him not to. And Daniel Suarez would have been the other driver on that list. He is in 14th place as of right now, just outside the top 10. He has not scored a top 10 in his 7 career Coca-Cola 600 starts. So that is the update on my pre-race predictions and where they are all running at the halfway point of this one so far. Again, we will be getting the green flag shortly. And we'll be getting yet another restart in this Coca-Cola 600. Once more, Ryan Preece stayed out of the pits. The only driver on the lead lap that did not hit pit road with the caution coming out. 34 cars are on the lead lap with only 3 of them that are actually out and done for the day. Again, Gregson, Blaney, and Yaley are the only three that are done for the night. Wouldn't want to be restarting behind Priest with him being on older tires for this restart. He's going to have about 23, 24 lap older tires on this restart. It's going to be quite a significant difference. On top of the fact he hasn't had top 10 speed at all, so we'll see if he just waits to come in till before they go green.
600 on Fox is sponsored by Progressive. Back to Chevy Motor Speedway halfway. Remember those storms that were over Indianapolis this morning? Well, they're headed this way. Look at how the air temperature has dropped. Well, only about 8 degrees, but the track temperature has come way down since the start of this race. And there are some thunder boomers in the area. It looks like we have a window right through there. Let's see how long we can keep this track.
Well, Mike, the troubles continue on pit road for the 11 of Denny Hamlin, the 17 of Chris Buescher, as well as the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. These stalls all
Gotta get this
tied together.
vortex theory going.
These guys getting in and out, and it continued on this last stop.
Denny Hamlin not fired up very often.
Well, it's frustrating. We talk about the length of these pit stalls and the way that this is cycled out for the 17 and the 11. The 11 is in front of the 17, and the 17 comes around into his pit box, and Denny Hamlin can't get out of his pit box. And every time he comes to pit road, he's having to back up. And he thinks that the 17 should be able to pit further into his box, but these stalls are short, so that angle that the 17 has in his pit box just leaves his tail hanging out. And it's just, it's not a good scenario for either of them.
And 17's trying to stop so he doesn't get in the back of Nemechek, trying to get out of his box. Nemechek, the 42 there. So we'll keep a close eye on that as we go forward. Bell and Byron on the front row. Toyota Chevy, first Ford is Keselowski in fifth. There's the results of the choose. And still 34 cars on the lead lap. Harrison Burton, the first car, 1 lap down. Corey LaJoie got the free pass on this, the end of stage 2 caution. So stage 3, here we go. Pace car is in. Back to green.
In the middle, and here comes that 45 car, Tyler Reddick.
3 wide into 3, back for 5th spot. Reddick climbs the hill and leaves, flips the position. The leads 2 wide for 3rd.
I'm interested to see what happens to William Byron's car this run. We are going to go loose in the last run, back not in the racetrack, and see if they made any adjustments to that car to make that better, because it took off fine last time, Clint, and we didn't fell off.
That was due in part from being in the wall a little bit, got some contact with the wall. He noticed the wheel being off just a little bit, used to the right. This adjustment helps him out. Those two have been the class of field so far, the 20 and the 24. Christopher Bell back to the top where he likes to launch off turn number 2, and he yards Byron down the back straightaway. Six single file. It's in place. Kyle Busch has had a rough night, couple of penalties. The most recent, a safety violation on his stop at lap 140.
Yeah, and they've made a lot of mistakes in the pit box all year long, and tonight has been no different. And obviously, he has a very fast race car, or a good enough race car to position himself back up into the top 10. So kudos to Kyle Busch and that team for bringing the car to the racetrack. They just got to get it straight on pit road.
Behind Bush, Ross Chastain, who led 10 laps earlier and is now trying to find his way back into the top 10.
See running third right there, Brad Keselowski. This car is bad tonight. Passing three positions here on the restart. Running third. Having a good night so far. Always clean. Always want to finish these races like you've been talking about, Kevin.
Yeah, well, we talk about these are Chase Elliott. We talk about Brad Keselowski.
Experience.
The experience leads to less mistakes, and a lot of times that leads to less mistakes on your team as well, because that's the mentality that and the approach to the race that is taken.
Pole sitter Ty Gibbs trying to gain some ground here. He led 74 laps earlier. Now works his way underneath Bubba Wallace for fifth place.
Got some help with that pit stall yet again. That good qualifying run yesterday. Up 7 positions just because of that number 1 stall. Sure does help.
Well, another car, that one car, Ross Chastain right there. We haven't heard much out of him over the last little bit, but his car was a lot faster when he had clean air. Fell way back on a pit stop and is working his way back forward as well.
Big crossover out. Chase Elliott running to the inside of Denny Hamlin. Run into trouble, though. Got tight behind Gibbs. And it just shows you, as soon as he got in the wake of that car, really had to slow up to keep the front end underneath of him.
Yeah, you have to be very patient with these cars on the entry to the corner because you do not want to wind up nose to tail behind a car in the same line. And if you do, it's just minimize the damage. Try to do everything that you can do to not lose a position, because that's the cycle of, hey, do I need to make the move now and make a mistake and then lose a spot and have to start all over again?
8th and 9th, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman. Chastain with them.
Slight lag on the Fox broadcast. That rain's still coming through from Indy here. Clearly on the way to Charlotte, North Carolina as well. It was a long band.
It settles in behind Bubba Wallace and has a mirror full of Denny Hamlin.
All the way from the back, guys. All the way up to 4th place. We knew when he came out after that penalty, Kevin, at the beginning of this race and drove off from the leaders, he was going to be a force if he got back around to it. And yes, sir, he is. Running for a straight run so far, Tyler Reddick.
Shots from Reddick's Toyota Cam. Let's get an update from Josh.
Well, yeah, to that point, Clinton, that's why when I talked to their crew, Scott, before the race, he wasn't panicked about having to go to the back. He said this car was really good yesterday. We knew we could run up against the wall if we needed to. We could move around and make passes if we needed to. Tyler Reddick's only complaint before that last stop, that car was a little crazy. They tightened him up, but he's right back where they expected it to be.
For a car that started the race almost a lap down under penalty, Reddick has had a great drive back.
Sporting.
Got in that traffic, he started to lose those positions, and we're seeing the same thing right here. He started to lose those positions, and here and then he got into the wall as well.
This might be the reason why you see him out of the gas a long ways. I think he's, tight traffic. He was way out of the gas, and that thing continued to head north all the way into the wall.
So as the track cools and tightens up, how do you have to adjust your driving style to keep up with the racetrack?
If it does tighten up.
Yeah, well, if your car is tight, it's really going to hurt that momentum through the center of the corner, because you're not going to be able to push that partial throttle through the center of the corner to keep that mid-corner speed where it needs to be to make lap time around the top of the corner. So you got to try to find something that works in the middle of the racetrack, hopefully, or you just got to slow down. You can't hit the wall, so you just got to back off and take your lumps and try to make an adjustment.
See, Brad Keselowski, we just noted it, man. He is really fast tonight with his RFK cars. These guys have turned the page since Kansas Speedway. Ever since Kansas Speedway, particularly on these intermediate racetracks, these mile and a half, they have found the speed.
Working lap 20 of stage 3. Christopher Bell's now led more laps today than in his prior 4 Coke 600s combined.
All right, we'll go through the full field running order at this point. Christopher Bell again is your race leader. Brad Keselowski second, William Byron third, Tyler Reddick fourth, and Bubba Wallace in fifth. Denny Hamlin sixth, Chase Elliott seventh, Ty Gibbs in eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, Ross Chastain in 10th. Kyle Busch is 11th, Josh Berry 12th, Daniel Suarez 13th, Michael McDowell 14th, Martin Truex Jr. 15th. 16th is Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano 17th, Carson Hocevar 18th, Todd Gilliland 19th, Justin Allgaier 20th, Daniel Hemrick 21st, Austin Cindric 22nd, Chris Buescher 23rd, Eric Jones 24th, Justin Haley 25th, John Hunter Nemechek 26th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 27th, Jimmy Johnson 28th, Shane Smith 29th, Shane Van Gisbergen is 30th. 31st for Austin Dillon, Kaz Grala 32nd. 33rd is Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece the last car in the lead lap at 34th. 35th is Harrison Burton after his crash, still in the race though. Ty Dillon is 36, 4 laps down. BJ McLeod 9 laps down at 37th. And 3 cars out of the race today, finishing 38th through 40th. Noah Gragson will finish 38th, Ryan Blaney 39, JJ Haley 40th. Average race speed to this point, 128.18 miles per hour. And just over 2.5 hours from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Just past the halfway point in the Coca-Cola 600. Appreciate everybody tuning in. You're listening live on KRC to the 2024 Coke 600. We'll take an ad break and continue our coverage. That rain that they were talking about, again, is expected to hit Concord, North Carolina at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. It's still about 35 to 40 minutes away from now. So, should be close to the end of stage 3 by the time the expected rain is to hit. And it doesn't look like that rain's going to go away until about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, which means another hour and a half or so to dry the track afterwards. I like to think when it rains, they will end up calling this race at some point if it does rain heavily, unless the storm starts to dissipate. But we'll just have to wait and let time tell the answer to that question. All right, up to 50 likes on the stream, halfway to 100. Appreciate that, everybody. We've really only been live for about 75 laps of this race so far. Still 175 to go if we do get the full distance in. And be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Hit that subscribe button as well. We are on the road to 6K. Waiting for them to come back from the commercial break. I'll let you listen into more of the broadcast. Again, this race is on your local Fox affiliate. And as usual, Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Boyer are the 3 men in the booth. With just a few Fox races left this season.
We did. Awesome. I'm going to fly over here. Damn, come over here. I got to see you, Kevin. This is what pays to go in the infield and see our fans. From Darlington. The infield together. You see? You got to take care of your season, Kevin.
Mark told me many times tonight that I was no fun, so you're doing a good job out there.
All right, Christopher Bell and Brad Keselowski going at it for the lead. And once again, across the screen, we'll see our ticker of the fallen servicemen and women of the United States that are memorialized these race cars, chase cars, and support vehicles this evening.
So many servicemen and women here this weekend today. It's awesome to see the turnout and be able to give thanks to them.
And so many Gold Star family that Greg Walter introduced in the driver's meeting that are here. Channel put us under caution for the 6th time tonight.
Bumps getting in the corner, and it kind of gets light, and if you get too much speed or hit those bumps wrong, it'll just kind of knock the back out from underneath the car, and that's what happened right
Corey
there.
did a great job keeping it out of the wall, as a matter of fact. The car's going to be able to put tires on it. Survive to see another lap. Larry, another set of tires, though.
Yeah, but I think we got to come, Clint, because we've run about 20 laps. This actually puts you right there on the window of maybe not having to stop again should we stay green at the end of stage 3. Hearing a lot of those cars get tight, you are, Larry. You talked about the 54 getting tight. You can't run that top lane when those cars start doing that. So we've heard William Byron talk about it. He hit the wall and it got looser. That might play good for him as he goes into the end of this race, but they're gonna have to deal with that 45 before this is all said and done, Clint.
Now, looking at LaJoy's car on pit road, here he did not get the wall unless it was with the left side.
He did a great job keeping out of the wall. It was very close, obviously, but going back to Reddick, what you just said, that car's getting bigger in the rear view, buddy.
Yeah, they put that monster beast on the hood of that thing, and it has been a beast all night. It has run well high, low, all the way through the field. He had to serve a penalty at the beginning of this race.
I'm also impressed keeping my eye on this 6 car. He's the one that got it done in Darlington after 110 tries, and now he's knocking on the door of another one already.
Well, I think Keselowski and Reddick had the best cars there at the end of the run. Obviously, Bell was the leader, but I felt like Brad was a little bit better as we got towards the end of that run. So lots of adjustments now. Temperatures are still cooling off. The track conditions have changed. We're starting to hear a lot of tight cars. Got to be able to run that top, and that thing's got to turn.
We still have 250 miles to race here tonight.
Well, I'm just worried about how many tires we have left. I know Larry said we have to put them on, and I want them.
Hold on, you see this marker right there? They backed Denny up. That's his left front marker where he stops in the box. They're trying to get this sorted out. You see the 17 guys? They're working on it. Everybody's focused on here. Communication's going on over here. They're going to back that 11 up right here. Try to get him. You can't be back behind the line. And then you see where they've made these adjustments on the 17, trying to move him up a little bit. Working together so this confusion and frustration at 11 doesn't happen again.
Well, now, Larry, all 4 of your tires have to be in the box, but can't the back of your car hang over the back of that box?
Seen back.
Yeah, absolutely. You see how deep he was pitting in the box right there? But Mike, with an opening behind me, I would mark it to where my rear tires are just inside that box, because that's all you have to have. Back of the car can be hanging over.
It doesn't matter how far you're going to back up. That 17 sits sideways in the box. That bad, you're blocked in.
And these cars they don't turn well getting out of the pit box. As twitchy as they are on the track, they do not turn well at low speed. Josh.
For the 45 of Tyler Reddick, that car just maybe a half number free, but no adjustments for them. Just 4 tires and fuel. Oregon. 20 of Christopher Bell is still asking crew chief Adam Stevens to make that race car a little bit tighter on the throttle. He does not want the ride quality hurt when they do that, though. And the 24 of William Byron has still got the back of the car swinging around too much because of that earlier damage. Jamie?
Sense urgency down here. Brad Keselowski's team had told him 10 to 15 minutes away for the weather. He was trying to get the lead, came up a little short, needed an air pressure check, and 4 tires there.
Hamlin got out of his box clean. Busher had to back up because of the 42, who couldn't get out of his box at all. This is Keystone Cops at that end of pit road. And there, the race off pit road.
Weather looming, and the end of this race could be really at any lap because we are past the scheduled distance, or sorry, past the halfway point to make this race official at lap 200 here tonight. So we could potentially get a rain-shortened race under those circumstances. The winner of the race off of pit road was Christopher Bell, so he'll get to continue on with the lead. And Keselowski, who was in second prior to the caution coming out for that incident for Corey LaJoie in turn 2. Somebody order Keegan a pizza. Yeah, I haven't eaten since before the Indy 500. I did make sure that I ate some extra food in between the start of the race with that being delayed. So I was originally supposed to stream at 12:30 and then go live. So I'm technically not streaming as much today because of not getting this full race in, only about 2/3 of it in. Even if we get the full 400 laps in, then it would be about 2/3 of this race. But yeah, I missed the original third, so I'm actually streaming less, which kind of stinks for viewership purposes. But I appreciate again everybody tuning in, regardless of the fact here this weekend. I have 168 to go, scheduled at least, for the rest of this race when we get back to green flag action. Top 5 on the restart will be Christopher Bell in the lead, Brad Keselowski second, Tyler Reddick third, Ty Gibbs fourth, William Byron fifth, Chase Elliott in sixth, Bubba Wallace in seventh, Denny Hamlin eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, Ross Chastain is 10th. And again, an update on those predictions from what I originally would have had if we had a pre-race. The must-have picks: Reddick is third, Byron fifth. My win pick, Chase Elliott, is sixth. All in the top 10. Ross Chastain in the top 10 as well. You can kind of loop in there with the sleeper pick. So he's in 10. Ty Gibbs, another one of those picks, is fourth. So 5 for 5 to that point. I'll give myself the extra point picking Joseph Newgarden to win the Indy 500 too, but needless to say there. The don't have picks to this point. They're all running outside the top 10, with Daniel Suarez 22nd, Joey Logano 15th, Ryan Blaney out of the race. He'll finish 39th. A little over 160 laps to go still in the Coke 600.
On the 600. The way it his hope was started fifth at Indy and finished 18th after leading 4 laps.
It's going to be a long day. Not quite the 1,100 miles he was thinking it was going to be, but nonetheless, I want to say tip of the cap to Justin Allgaier. Got in that car after not turning one single lap, Kevin, is running 14th. Job, bud.
All right, equipment interference on Daniel Suarez and an uncontrolled for John Hunter Nemechek, in addition to the traffic jam with Chris Buescher.
Allgaier's 14th too. It kind of stinks he has to come out of it.
Keselowski up front for the restart, then Reddick and Gibbs, Byron and Elliott, Wallace, Hamilton, Bowman and Chastain, the top 10. 17 radio here.
Miles, Kevin, and why does it?
Well, a lot of it compiles because this car needs to go back. It needs to go back further in the pit stall. And the 17 has to come around the 11 cars while his guys are out there trying to change the tires. So he winds up angled.
Why can the 11 car come back?
Well, and then it gets worse. The 11 car has an opening in. You're right. So the 11 car still needs to back up, but the 17 winds up crooked, and then the 42 comes around him and has to be crooked, and they all have to back up. So everybody's mad at everybody because this sequence is not timing out well because they're all running in the backwards order that they need to be running in for this to work okay. Meaning,
uh-oh, Larry, what'd you just say to us in our ear?
Ramp it up. Hands and feet up on that steering wheel.
Both the feet now we're putting on the wheel.
both the hands and feet on.
All right, lights are on the base car. We'll try it again. Alan Keselowski, Toyota and Ford in the front row.
Now it's got new people to hold off here. Green flag. Keselowski, Reddick up there, sir. Reddick blocked up on the outside. There's Ty Gibbs on the bottom. The help all dispersed on that outside. Big time deteriorated.
Denny Hamlin alone on the bottom. Now Gibbs down there as well. In third. Fell, Keselowski, Gibbs, Reddick, Elliott.
Top bottom, hanging tough down on the bottom, right to the bumper.
he definitely has a better car, Clint. It's just a matter of him getting around Christopher Bell. It's just going to take the right instance, and you see Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs side by side. You see the flames out of the pipe. Ty has to lift after he gets tied up off the curb.
Two Toyotas fighting for third. Bell and Keselowski have checked out. And fifth, right behind them. Three-way battle there. with Denny Hamlin in the middle of Byron and Elliott. Now here comes Bowman going Chastain.
Yeah, and you saw Tyler Reddick on the bottom right there, and you see Alex Bowman go to the bottom of the racetrack to try to capitalize. That's actually William Byron to capitalize on Reddick's loss of momentum. So if you don't make that pass on the bottom of this racetrack, it jeopardizes losing a position behind you because you either get tight, don't make the pass, or they get that big draft when the cars are side by side. Here they go again.
Big fight for third, and now they are being blocked by Byron and Hamlin.
You see how bad it stalled those cars out side by side down that straightaway. Byron pulls right to the rear bumper.
Yeah, and you see Conti
Oh!
gives into the fence.
Oh!
So not grass.
Yeah, if that was grass, it would have plowed the splitter into the.
You saw Reddick get loose on the bottom. Ty Gibbs moved up to give him some room and got the wall. Huge crossover. That was awesome. Three different makes now.
Passing the turf. Surfing the turf.
Toyota, Ford, and Chevrolet. I think we need another look at that. It's
Sponsored by.
I'd say.
see the two monster cars get into one another. Reddick come up, got loose, come up into him, but look at that. You can see as he shot the dust come flying up. Big move for William Byron taking advantage of those two getting together.
Yeah, you get hear a lot, Clint, but it's rare that I hear you flabbergasted like that.
That was awesome.
Look at that.
Since the days of Dale Earnhardt, have we seen a pass in the grass at Charlotte like that? Now, the pass in the grass, where he was battling Bill Elliott for the lead in the All-Star race, really wasn't a pass. It was just Earnhardt diving down into the grass to hold his position. This one, though, was a position gain for William Byron.
Two positions.
Well, Justin Allgaier has done exactly what this team needed him to do. Keep that car on the lead lap, give us feedback, keep us in the game till Kyle Larson gets here, and he's not far away. Jamie?
That's exactly right. I was listening to their radio too, and Cliff Daniels said, "Hey, buddy, be happy about tonight. You have checked all the boxes. We've 1 and 2. It's checked. Keep on taking." And Allgaier said, "This car is so good. We're piling the field. So we're on the pile right now."
Wow. Those views from the HenryCars.com camp. The back Larson at Indianapolis and here in Charlotte. Martin Truex, Ben's Pro Shops cam. Truex, who once led 592 of the 600 miles, now in 12, having an unmarked like 600 so far.
Well, they kind of got out of sequence on those pit cycles when people stayed out and didn't stay out, and it just hasn't cycled back forward. But you see the Hunt Brothers Pizza onboard camera with Joey Logano. This car was terrible to start with, and now we see a caution.
I see a helicopter coming. There's Larson. It's a caution for weather, guys.
Well, it's not for that helicopter. Lap 246. And we'll mark this as caution number 7. Rain on the racetrack. And hopefully it's brief.
Hopefully.
This could help that driver exchange be way more efficient under caution. Or maybe even a rain delay with these cars stopped on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to rain a little bit. Going to rain pretty hard here for just a short amount of time.
May not even lose more than one lap.
No.
If that. That would be big.
And there's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, he's barely 46 laps past halfway.
You put that boy in a car that's running third. It's my man. I say it all the time. Just what the doctor ordered. So things are complicated for Kyle Larson. NASCAR rules require that to remain eligible in playoff contention, you must start every scheduled Cup race. If you're unable to start a race, you can request a waiver from NASCAR, but that is not guaranteed. So obviously, due to weather at Indianapolis, Larson was not here to start the 600. However, it's expected he's going to get in this car in relief of Justin Allgaier. Caution for rain on the racetrack in Charlotte with Christopher Bell leading.
So rain on the track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coca-Cola 600 on lap 247 of 400. We're past scheduled distance, so this race could be official if it really lets loose and NASCAR deems it official. Christopher Bell is your race leader as of right now. Brad Keselowski is second. William Byron third. Tyler Reddick is fourth. Denny Hamlin fifth. Ty Gibbs is sixth. Chase Elliott seventh. Ross Chastain eighth. Alex Bowman ninth. Josh Berry 10th. Bubba Wallace 11th, Martin Truex Jr. 12th, Justin Allgaier 13th, Joey Logano 14th, and Kyle Busch is 15th. 16th for Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland 17th, Daniel Hemrick 18th, Eric Jones 19th, and Austin Cindric is 20th. Carson Hocevar is 21st, Justin Haley 22nd, Chris Buescher 23rd, Daniel Suarez 24th, Chase Briscoe 25th, Ryan Preece 26th. 27th is Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen is 28th, Jimmy Johnson 29th, John Hunter Nemechek is 30th. 31st is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Harrison Burton 32nd, Zane Smith 33rd, and Kaz Grala is the last car in the lead lap at 34th. Corey LaJoie a lap down at 35th will get the free pass with the yellow, and he'll get back on the lead lap. Ty Dillon is 36th, 2 laps down. 8 laps down is BJ McLeod in 37th, and the 3 cars out of the race are Noah Gragson 38th, Ryan Blaney 39th, and JJ Yaley in 40th. Christopher Bell, who won Stage 2, has led the most laps today with 89 laps led to this point. Ty Gibbs has led 75 laps from the pole, and Stage 1 winner William Byron has led 49 laps. Remember, this race has an extra stage, so more stage points on the line. If it gets rain shortened, then the race results would also be the Stage 3 results, so you get the playoff point for a stage win and the race win here if it's official, if it really lets loose here and we have at least a few hours of rain, it seems like, at least according to the Weather Channel. I was on the Weather Channel app not that long ago. Really, it was during one of the cautions in Stage 2 I was on it. It said rain was looming about 9:45 Eastern. Percentage of rain is up above 50% through midnight. So about midnight is when it's supposed to clear out. Eastern time, of course. And then another hour and a half or so to dry the track after that. So it's either going to be an extremely late night or it could be official again if the rain really lets loose and we lose the track. Kyle Larson is in Charlotte.
Recognize Algeria. See, there he is. Get in position. Boy, you couldn't have timed this any better with weather, a caution. So there is Kyle, and here's the radio from car number 5.
And I mean, the timing of a couple of minutes would have been perfect right here.
Yeah, I know, and at this point. Right. Thank you, Justin Allgaier. Did a great job putting this boy in. Now, the starting driver receives the points, and it's his name that goes in the record book. You saw a graphic earlier where Darrell Waltrip won a race in relief in 1977, the last time that happened. However, DW does not get the credit for it, nor will Larson. Justin Allgaier is the driver of record for this race.
I think I just heard a lightning strike call. That means these cars will come down to pit road.
Yep.
That will give them everything they need to get this driver swap under here efficiently, not lose laps. Gonna have to go to the back, as you said.
but they're not going to lose a lap. You're going to put that guy in a really fast race car that Justin Allgaier already has 13th. He's got a shot at this thing. This is not over for the 5 car whatsoever. And we just reviewed the rule, and if a driver change is made under the red flag, that car has to go to the rear when the race is restarted.
I was wondering
So
that.
his car sheet, Jesse, right there, giving him the instructions on what they wanted him to do, what they needed to do to change the belts or everything that they needed to make the car ready for him.
What an opportunity. So right now we are under a lightning delay for lightning in the area at 249 laps complete in the Coca-Cola 600. Our Charlotte studio will update you on the other side of this commercial break. We're under caution with Christopher Bell leading, Brad Keselowski and William Byron.
So getting under red flag for the first time here today, an actual red flag. This one is for lightning in the area and, of course, thunderstorms about to roll in here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Our current race leader is Christopher Bell, and we'll see if he'll hold as the leader through all of this. Maybe we get a restart in after this. Hopefully we don't lose the racetrack. Really, really hoping that that's not the case. If we do, it could be a few hour delay here if NASCAR deems they want to continue on with this one. But as of right now, Christopher Bell is the race leader. Brad Keselowski again is second. William Byron third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5. Ty Gibbs is in the 6th place position. Chase Elliott 7th. Ross Chastain 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. Josh Berry rounds out the top 10. So that's the top 10 in the running order as of this red flag for rain. And a rainy, dreary day on multiple of the biggest races in motorsports with the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 here today. Got 55 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Still vote for who you think will win the races. We haven't gotten to the end of stage 3 yet, but we are past the halfway point to make this race official if, again, it does let loose. Allgaier deserved the cup ride before Berry. Nothing against the guy, but way overhyped. It's one thing to say he deserved it, but I don't think Allgaier really. I mean, sure, he would have liked to have run Cup Series full time. I'm sure like it pays more, but I think at his age, he's past his prime. I think he's in his early 40s, if I'm not mistaken. He's past his prime, racing wise, and I think him in the Xfinity Series competing for a championship there he's probably better off than trying to make a very late Cup career.
149 laps of the schedule.
That's my opinion, at least.
A dramatic day for Larson. Just before we went to commercial, we saw him arriving to the racetrack, running off of that golf cart over to his pit stall. Helmet on. He finished 18th in the Indianapolis 500. That race ended about 7:45, landed in Concord at 9:18, and then made it over to the Speedway. If you are Kyle Larson right now and you're walking up there, what questions are you asking your crew?
Yeah, well, first off, the timing couldn't be any better for Larson to have the rain come and the red flag, because he can now get in the car and get everything exactly where he needs it. I know that Justin was actually in his seat, probably a little bit uncomfortable, but the fact that Larson can do this and not be rushed, the fact they're not going to lose a lap, and he only goes to the rear, I mean, the circumstances just couldn't have worked out any better for what the cards he was dealt.
But Justin Allgaier has done an amazing job in his car. He had not turned a lap all weekend long, and yeah, it took him a while to get acclimated. I think Cliff Daniels had that race car tightened up for Justin Allgaier, and I think the way the track was changing, it worked right into his favor, and he has told Cliff 2 or 3 times when Kyle Larson gets in his car, he is going to fly. This car is so fast.
You see them covering up the cars right now. We're being told that that driver change, was made under yellow conditions, so he will not have to go to the back of the field.
Wow.
If that does stick, then Justin Allgaier running 13th in the Coca-Cola 600. No reason to believe that Kyle Larson in that car can't make his way up to the front and contend for this win. Do you debrief with Justin Allgaier?
Sure, you're gonna get a little bit of a breakdown on what he's felt. Probably gonna also look at the changes. Kyle practiced the car yesterday. Cliff's gonna be able to update him on what they've changed and also what the other Hendrick Motorsport cars drivers have changed to see if the trends are the same for all of them. So yeah, honestly, it could not have worked out better. The fact that this isn't gonna be a rush situation.
Well, Steve, I'm going to get to the bottom of this under caution because the cars did not pull into their pit box.
Yeah.
You can't change drivers out on pit road.
Yeah.
Again, I think
We'll find out.
I've been checking with NASCAR. I'm waiting on more answers. I think he's going to have to go to the rear of the field.
Yeah, it did look like the red flag had come out. I'm just repeating what I've been told, so we'll see if that does actually
Don't shoot the
play out.
messenger, Larry.
Larry calling me out.
Mr. Messenger.
But the rain has certainly been following Kyle Larson, that is for sure, from Indianapolis to Charlotte. As we wait through this rain delay, let's show you how we got to this point so far. 249 laps down in the Coca-Cola 600. Early on, you got Joey Logano making his way from the back.
Yeah, we saw a few of the guys going back. Logano's actually had a pretty decent car. Has made his way up into the top 15 at the point that we are right now.
Let's take a look at this as that continued. Got the 17 on the right side. William Byron did go on to win stage 1 in this race. We'll see what William Byron did in the grass in a few on these highlights. But take a look at 12. Very scary. Gets into the wall and that tire came off.
Yeah, he hurt penalty, but at the same time, he loses the tire and wheel. So our defending champion of the Coca-Cola 600 is in the garage area at DNF.
Led 90 laps in this race. He did win stage 2. And let's take a look at this again. I mentioned the move by William Byron. This is it. All the guys in the booth were freaking out because he comes down and just makes the 3 wide.
Yeah, and this worked out really well, obviously, for Byron, but it's the fact that it's that artificial turf, and it's, it used to be that the grass, so you had to hit it with the current cars we have, it would have ripped the nose off. It seemed almost seamless for him through there.
There's the helicopter we've been waiting on all afternoon and into the evening. Kyle Larson lands back there on the helipad.
It is. Kyle Larson landing back there, making his way to the racetrack. We showed you that. They have made the driver change, but Justin Allgaier having a great race so far for that team. And currently, Bell is your leader of this race. And I mentioned he has led 90 laps. What are the biggest surprises for you that you've seen so far in just over, the 3 stages?
I've got to say, Brad Keselowski is sitting up there running in second. Once again, Roush Fenway, Keselowski Racing continues to carry the banner for Ford. We were not sure where the Fords were going to be after practice and qualifying. Chris Buescher seemed to be one of the faster Fords in practice, but again, at 13 laps, he hits the wall. They have to go to a backup car, but Brad Keselowski been fast all night long.
And Shannon, yesterday he sat in your chair,
yeah.
did your job for the Xfinity Series race, and I asked Brad, I'm like, who do you think's going to be good today?
Yeah.
And he stopped me before I got the sentence finished, and he's like, we're going to be good. He's like, I feel really good about our program, and obviously he didn't qualify as well as he wanted, but they have a really good car.
It's running well, and he just seems like he keeps getting better and better and better. As Josh Berry in that 4 car, he's sitting up there inside the top 10 as well, and he's kind of been there most of the night.
Hear what you're saying about the Fords, but did we expect maybe to see a little bit more out of them just based on the speed that we saw coming off of Darlington and, of course, the All-Star race?
Well, I thought Clint and Kevin pointed out, a good point that the cooler it gets tonight, the more grip the track gains. It seems like a lot of the Fords are continuing to get better.
Yeah.
That's one thing that they have complained about is handling hasn't been as good on the mile and a half. So when we get to the tracks, the handling's important. The fact that the track's starting to cool down, it seems like the Fords are casually getting better here.
As we're waiting out this weather delay out at Charlotte Motor Speedway, hey, well, let's take this opportunity to talk to the guy that's leading the race right now, Christopher Bell. So what are the weather conditions, Christopher? We'll start there because the guy's just talking about it. We've seen the track temperatures and, of course, the air temperature come down drastically, like very quickly. How has that affected that race? I don't know if you can hear us.
Well, he needs to turn the volume up. Turn that
We gotta put the little air in him. We're gonna check back with him in just a second and see if we can't get him to So here, I mean, what do you think?
Well, I've been monitoring radios all race long, and even drivers like Christopher Bell that's been up there leading, these crew chiefs, they have been making adjustments nonstop on these race cars. That's what you have to do. You have to stay ahead of the racetrack. You get behind because that racetrack, especially once we went through twilight and into the nighttime, just gaining grip and the balance of the car has been changing. You have to make adjustments.
Yeah, 20 car, it's been a little bit of an up and down season. Obviously, won Phoenix, and at that point in the year, I know we had all kind of given him the championship trophy that said the 20 cards has been on top, but it's been a little bit up and down. But he's been fast at a lot of races. It seems like they have a handle on their car right now. He's pretty good on the restarts. I think Brad seems to be his biggest competition right now. But I'll tell you from a driver's perspective, when you get to get out and really have a debrief with your crew chief on the pit box, like you're going to see all these guys doing right now, you just get a better plan put together. So if your car is doing a certain thing, you can really break that down, maybe look at a little bit of the data and try to get your car better.
All right, let's see if we have Christopher Bell. We're being told that we do. Can you hear us now, Christopher?
Well, we're like literally in a windstorm here on the pit box, so I got you for now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Do your best meteorology or meteorologist. Tell us what's going on out there right now.
Well, I don't really see much rain. We're trying to put the side covers up on the pit box here, and it's going bonkers with the wind. So I'm looking at the countdown clock. We got like 20 minutes to go. The track looks good though, so if we get through this lightning delay, we're gonna be good to go.
That's reassuring. The guys were just talking before we came to you about just how the temperatures at the track they've changed so drastically, so quickly. How did that affect the race car underneath you?
I mean, yeah, the balance is definitely changing, and I'm sure that everybody's going through the same thing. But you know, my car's close, really close. I feel like we're a small adjustment away from being really good. The 6 car, he can stay in touch with us, and I think he might be a little bit faster than me, but yeah, we got the track position right now. So if we get another opportunity to work on this thing, hopefully we get right there.
So, Christopher, you talk about your car being close. Explain to us a little bit of what do you need? Do you need to get better on the short run, the long run? Is it just a balance issue? And you mentioned Brad. Who else do you have your eyes on? Who you think is a big concern tonight?
I mean, Brad seems like he's the best right now. He's been able to come through traffic and really pressure me even whenever I have clean air. So yeah, I mean, it's just about getting the balance right. And if you get the balance right, you're able to maximize your car potential, your lap time. So yeah, I have a little bit to go and a little bit to gain to go quicker with the car yet. And I think that we need that if we're gonna outrun this 6 car right now.
So, Christopher, we know they put the resin down in the upper 2 grooves at both ends of the racetrack, and there has been a lot of laps turned on this racetrack, including the Truck's Xfinity. Have you been able to move your car around? Has it seemed to work better at one end than the other, down low or up against the wall?
Yeah, Larry Mack. I'll be honest. Charlotte has become one of the best racetracks on the schedule for us, and you can race all over this thing. You can run the middle, you can run high, you can run low, and really go wherever your car is best at. So as I sit here, it sounds like it's really raining now, but yeah, I mean the track prep and this Charlotte Motor Speedway has become one of the best intermediates, just because you can move all over the place.
So, Christopher, we're just sitting here talking about. I told him that at a point in a race, if you're trying to work on your car, when you can get out and look your crew chief in the eye, talk with your engineer, look at some data, it's the ultimate way to try to make your car better. Just explain to us, your procedure over the next 15 or 20 minutes, what you'll go over with your crew chief and what you guys are going to work on.
Yeah, so the good thing is that now that I'm out of the car, I can really study the data. We have, all the data in the world of how much throttle percentage, brake percentage, steering wheel angle, GPS, miles per hour, RPMs of everyone in the field. So it's very clear where you're getting beat at, where guys are faster than you at. So with me hopping out of the car, I can, pinpoint and say, hey, he's faster than me at this part of the racetrack because he can do this, and I can't do this. So yeah, it's just about getting your car to do what you need it to do. Some drivers like it a little bit looser, some drivers like it a little bit tighter. And the guy that gets that the best is the one that's able to carry the most speed around the corners.
So, Christopher, I'm sure the answer is exactly what you guys have done in the last 249 laps. When you look at the first half of the regular season, we're officially halfway through, 13 down and 13 to go. You really had such a solid first 6 or 7 races getting that win at Phoenix. I know finishes can be a little artificial of how you're running, but what have you and Adam Stevens sat down over the last few weeks and say, this is what we've got to hone in for the second half of this regular season?
I lost you for some reason. All right, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I got
just
you back.
what do you guys
So-
need to work on for this second half of the regular season?
I don't know why I keep losing you, but I heard your question. What do we need to work on? Right? Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah. So we lost our consistency, and week in and week out, we've been going to the racetrack, and at times in the race, I'll feel really good. But then there are other times where I don't feel really good, and like Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Dover, all of those racetracks, the last couple weeks, we've just been very inconsistent. And fortunately tonight at Charlotte, we've been able to put together a really good race. But yeah, hopefully we're able to finish this night out. We've had a great night so far. We've got a bunch of stage points in stage 1 and stage 2. We got one more stage, and then the end of the race is for some more points.
Hey, Christopher, we all sat here and watched the moment of silence and watched you guys all pull down. We've talked so much all day about the pageantry, about what this day means. I know that you are racing with Thomas Kennedy across the front of your race car. What was that moment of silence like for you, coming down pit road, being a part of that, and knowing that it's so much more than just racing tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome, to see. Fortunately, I was up front, so I got to see them carry the flag out into the infield. And it's amazing. This weekend is so much more than just racing. And I'm very honored to have Thomas Kennedy on my car. And hopefully, we're able to finish this thing out for him and represent him well.
Something tells me that lightning clock has restarted about 14 times since we've talked to you, because I see the lights just flashing behind you, and we can hear it outside the studio. Thank you for taking a few minutes. I know you got some debriefing to do to get back into that car and win a Coca-Cola 600.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
All right, and you did hear Christopher Bell mention Thomas Kennedy, who, of course, is on the front of his windshield. Tom Rinaldi had a chance to spend some time with the family to tell their story.
Wherever we are in life, there are two directions we can move. In challenge or danger, some move backward. Some move the other way.
Boy, I think it means like I'm a fighter. Someone who goes about it for other people. That's the word for other people. Do things for them.
Growing up outside New York City, Thomas T.K. Kennedy competed in all things. But hockey was his favorite, and was the first reason he chose to attend West Point.
Military wasn't really big in their family, but he just, wanted to continue to play hockey. Once he got to West Point, he loved it.
After graduating in 2000, TK's life and career changed on 9/11.
The unthinkable happened today. The World Trade Center, both towers, gone. We are all
He would eventually serve 2 tours in combat in Iraq. In between those deployments, he met Cammie at a family wedding in 2008. By 2010, the two were married and expecting.
We found out that I was pregnant with twins, so we were both kind of in shock when we found that out.
In July 2012, TK was deployed again, this time to Afghanistan. August 8th, TK was en route to a governor's meeting in Kunar province when a suicide bomber approached. In an effort to protect his group, Thomas Kennedy moved forward.
It doesn't surprise me that Tom would have done that. Heard a knock on the door, and I could see 2 military officers standing at the door. And before I even opened the door, I knew 100% what they were going to tell me. So I just kind of stopped in my tracks, and I just stared at them. Seemed like for a long time.
Thomas Kennedy was 35 years old. His legacy lives on most clearly in his 2 children, Maggie and Brody. 14 years old now. They were 2 when their dad died.
My dad gave me the courage to do anything that I would put my mind to.
Well, it's strength. He such a good person. He influenced so many people, and I want to be just like him, do exactly what he did to other people, and I want to be a good person like him.
TK is remembered in so many ways. In how his son skates, how his daughter swings, and today, in how Christopher Bell drives, with Thomas Kennedy's name written on the number 20 car.
I'm absolutely honored to carry Thomas Kennedy on my car. He was the real American hero and paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's much more than just racing.
It's just been incredible to our family to have his legacy recognized. That shows, both Maggie and Brody how special their dad was.
And that is what it's all about. There's the Kennedy family right there. This was pre-race, and wife Tammy currently battling cancer. Just the strength that this family has. Thank you so much to the Kennedy family for allowing our Tom Rinaldi to spend some time with you and tell your story about Thomas. And this is what it's all about. We've talked about this all day long. We've had some great racing, but the names on those cars, the moment of silence, everything that's happened before, that's what today is all about.
Well, and I said it in the pre-race, and I feel so strongly about it, is we had over 250,000 people that gathered in Indianapolis for the Indianapolis 500 earlier today. We got over 100,000 people sitting out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we can do it and not think twice about it. We feel safe because of those men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice that allows us to have the freedom that we have today.
Yeah, when you see the family down at the car before the race, and we heard Christopher Bell talking about wanting to go to victory lane with those family members to help honor that fallen soldier. It's really what this weekend's all about. And I gotta say, as we interviewed Christopher Bell, we're asking about his car, and then we ask him about that soldier. And what a special sport to be able to interview him, hear his thoughts directly out of the car.
Done a lot of really great things in television. I do remember in 2020 when Brad Keselowski won the Coca-Cola 600, we were able to have his family Zoom in with him after the race. And Brad Keselowski joins us now. And Brad, I know close your ties are with your charity foundation, with the military, and with military families. Talk about Howard Walker Gilmore, the Navy commander who was on the front of your windshield tonight.
Yeah, Commander Gilmore is really a special story for the Navy, especially the submarine community. Gave his life in World War II. He's got this famous quote, "Take her down." He was on the bridge of a submarine and was taking fire from enemies in the Pacific Theater, and he saw what was happening and gave his life on the bridge and told the crew to take her down at the last minute. Saved probably everyone on his submarine. So really special story to the submarine community, and someone who certainly is befitting of the honor of being honored and remembered.
We've got a little family member trying to get some airtime here, Brad. I see that. Are you just hanging out in the motorhome with your family right now? Dad, let me get in.
My daughter Autumn here. She's dying to be on the camera, but my family's here, and the great thing about 600 is being here in Charlotte as well. Things that we take pride in. Allows us to honor our service members and their families a little easier with being in our shops and so forth. And also to have our family here and make sure they recognize the importance of Memorial Day. So it's a great thing that our sport does. And I'm going to be a part of it. I want to win the race here, Shannon.
I know.
I want to be able to honor Mel in victory lane again, and we're so close. We didn't need these yellows. Probably the Kennedy family is now looking for that, but we're right there. So proud of how we're running.
I'm going to let the boys handle the questions about the car. And I want to know about that submarine. We did see the piece with you and Regan, and Jamie and I were just sitting here just thinking how cool that was, that trip there to see those men and women working on those subs.
Yeah, we can talk about building submarines, but it doesn't make a lot of sense until you see one and realize that. I tell people all the time, it looks like they took a skyscraper and pushed it in the ocean, but it's a city. It's a city out in the middle of the ocean. It's incredible. It's underwater too, and to think of what those men and women do that serve for our military and on our submarines and in the Navy in general, it's pretty remarkable. I know being underway for weeks at a time, and literally not seeing the light of day is that's a commitment right there.
Well, Brad, Shannon and I both said that this TV deal doesn't work out. We might go apply for the submarine jump, so we might be in alignment. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, yesterday when you were in here, yesterday when you were in here doing the Xfinity Series race, I asked you who was going to be fast this weekend, and you stopped me. You're like, it's going to be me. You had a lot of confidence in your car and your team. I know you guys won Darling, but what gave you all the confidence heading into Charlotte this weekend?
Yeah, I just like the way our cars survived. They drive great practice, Jamie, or qualifying, and that dug his little hole. But when they dropped the green, we went from 30 to top 10, but before the first stage was over, and I felt really good about that. We need the race to run now. We're not really any better than most of the field first 5 or 10 laps, but if we get to lap 20 or 30 in a run, our car is just phenomenal, and I'm able to put it where I want to put it. And be really smooth with it and keep everybody around me honest. So the last few runs of the race here have been all short runs, Jamie. I've been able to take advantage of it. If we can get this race back green, if we can get those 30, 40 lap runs, I think we can take our Build Submarines forward to victory lane.
Well, let me tell you another reason you need some long green flag runs, Brad. And I know you let Matt McCall, your crew chief, kind of handle all this, but you're running out of tires, buddy. You have a lot of sticker tires, Lynn, and we got 149 laps to go. Have you guys kind of chatted about that?
Yeah, it was pretty obvious the rain was going to come, and so saving tires wasn't really worth it. We just needed the rain here to come, maybe like 30 minutes later. But, at some point, last year we got caught in that. We saved tires for the end of the race, and we didn't get to use them. So want long green flag runs. So we kind of went to this race and said, we ain't saving no tires. And looks like it might pay off for us to some degree.
Looks like you need a bigger boat.
We can hear the thunder outside of our studio.
Hear the thunder here, Brad. The track's obviously going to be green when we go back racing. A lot of rubber on it from the truck race and the Xfinity race. When your guys' race started tonight, what's your plan? You make some adjustments to your car. Do you see where you are on that first run? And then, we talked to Christopher Bell just a few minutes ago. He was actually on the pit box, going to do a little debrief with his crew chief. How do you go about that? Is Matt going to come over to your bus? Do you go back out to the team hauler? Like, what's your plan from here forward?
Yeah. Well, while Christopher was talking to you, I was talking to my crew chief. Yeah, I got the in first. But, I think we're pretty happy with it. I don't see us making a lot of changes. If anything, I think it gets better with no rubber on the track. If we need it to be slick, and it seems like when rubber gets in the track, especially in the night, it gives it more grip, not less. And the less grip has been our friend, Jamie.
All right, before we let you go, do Autumn and Scarlett want to say hi to America? And they already got it. They're already hiding.
They already left. When you have 4 and 8-year-old kids, you can contain their interest for a minute, and we've gone past that.
We deal with Clint on that every week.
Listen, these guys sitting next to me, and I deal with the same thing every single day. We're going to be better. Yeah. Good luck. Hey, good luck out there. Listen. I hope you called your shot, buddy.
Thank you. I hope we get back running. Appreciate it, guys.
Yep, absolutely. Another thing we talked to Brad about yesterday was breaking that 110 race winless streak. When you look at what he's been able to do, he makes the move from Team Penske, takes a chance, goes over there. They start that season in the first year. They get the penalty points. They're just stuck behind the 8 ball. And then they go out and break the streak. Him winning for his team as a driver, big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it. And he went to an organization that before he got there, in the previous 7 years, had 1 year they won a race.
Yeah.
Roush Fenway Racing, that's now RFK Racing, 1 winning season in 7. And he leaves an organization that had won an Xfinity Series championship, a Cup Series championship, and 30-something races. This guy rolled the dice about as much as you could roll the dice, and it started paying dividends. I know neither one of those teams made the playoffs in year 1. Buescher ended up winning a race in the playoffs, even though was not a part of it. Chris Buescher wins those races last year, and now this year, both of them, honestly, are probably the 2 best Fords right now, halfway through the regular season.
Yeah, I would say he has to be really proud of what he's been able to do over at RFK. And I would think that last year had to be really hard on Brad, because as proud as you are to see Buescher, one of your teammate, go to victory lane, you want to go there, right?
to every one of those
And,
races.
Yeah, and that doesn't change that. But when you look at this season, he's has the 2 second place finishes at Texas and Talladega, and then finally getting that win at Darlington, the last points race we were at. And here he is in second place. They're just in a really good place. And like I said yesterday, his confidence, it was pretty incredible.
It really was. Chris Buescher, I'm glad you guys mentioned him because it has not been a race without drama for Chris Buescher. We've documented the problems with the pit stall. Denny Hamlin so close in front, behind him, I should say, and John Hunter Nemechek right in front of him. They've had to move the tape around. They're trying to get in and get out. Let's do a little radio remix to tell you how this sounds from inside those race cars.
Oh boy.
What was that? Yeah, dealing it all day. It was the very last guy to fix it. Not the water, but the last one, they were close to some sort.
Race. This is what's happening right now during the weather delay, or it happened recently. These two guys, this tweet coming from RFK Racing, a civil discussion being had amongst men. Okay, so you see Denny Hamlin there in the white fire suit, and you see Christopher Buescher there in the blue fire suit, blue and black. So what is this conversation like, driver? What are you saying to the guy in front of you?
This is almost like the driver and crew chief getting to come out and debrief. This is the best situation for them because they can get out and kind of get a plan together and talk about it. The issue that they have is that Denny is running better than Chris, who's pitted in front of him, and Chris is running better than John Nemechek, who's pitted in front of him. So, and the pit stalls just aren't very long here, and they're just not big pit stalls. So they need one of them to fall out. It's just they need to have happen. It's going to be hard to get the 6. But we did see on that last pit stop, Denny slid a little bit long. They tried to back him up. He had a couple of feet behind him. It's a really big difference. But this isn't going to fix itself tonight.
Yeah, but I will say the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, there's an opening behind him. And remember, the rule is his rear tires only have to be inside the pit box. The back of that car could be hanging over. I would pit him just as shallow in that box as he possibly can. And that's going to, that maybe doesn't fix the between the 17 and the 42, but at least helps the 11 team.
Listen, the best part of all of that is that Denny got mad at his crew chief and started yelling at him. And his crew chief's like, look, I did everything I could. So then Denny stews on that for a little while. And then he just keys the radio and he starts talking to the 17 team, just hoping that they're scanning him. I love it.
How many times has this happened to you?
Many times.
Many times.
I've always had people mad at me, and it was for things that I didn't do. It was things my drivers.
Oh, yeah, right. 249 laps of the Coca-Cola 600 in the books right now. We are, as you can see right there, in a weather delay. It's been quite an action-filled day. The 5 car right there. Justin Allgaier has been driving that car throughout the race. He's currently in 13th position. Kyle Larson was at the Indianapolis 500. He finished 18th in that event. That event ended at 7:45. He took off. He flew to Concord, landed at 9:18, and he has made the official driver change. Now, I told you earlier that he would not have to go to the back of the field, but we have been corrected, and if this race does restart, he will have to go to the back of the field because that was done in a red. You knew that. You were like, where'd you get that info, Shannon?
My transition from my room to the studio, I had already reached out to Elton Sawyer with NASCAR, and he said, absolutely. You know, again, they never pulled their cars in the pit boxes. They just stopped them on pit road. So even if the caution was still displayed, you can't change drivers out in the middle of pit road. So, again, the bottom line is he will have to go to the rear if they make this change. But you know what? If they made it under normal cautions, he's going to be at the back anyhow,
because he's going to lose all the track position.
And as you mentioned, he's going to have plenty of time if this race does restart again to be able to get into that race car, pull those belts, make everything just
Yeah,
comfortable.
I mean, it's the best scenario for the timing of this could not have been any better. Like I say, everybody's a little bit different about like how comfortable they want to be in a car. I would want to make sure that the seatbelts were all right. If I wanted to adjust my mirror, if there was anything that I wanted to change, under a red flag like this, you can. And if you do that, under a typical pit stop, you just don't have time. You might even lose a lap trying to get in the car and get all the seatbelts adjusted. So this is a perfect scenario for him.
But I know you guys kind of touched on it with Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell. When we go back racing, and I do say when we go back racing, the speeds at this mile-and-a-half racetrack, with that rubber gone and that track washed off, they're going to be ludicrous speeds for the first few laps.
Speeds like that Indianapolis 500 today. Did you see those closing laps?
It won't be that fast.
Yeah, Joseph Newgarden, congratulations to Team Penske getting their his second in a row Indianapolis 500 win, the first time that's happened since 2001. There's my McNugget for you.
There you go.
Yeah, with Elio Castroneves. Okay, driver, I know the answer to this, but tell me something else. Every time I asked Jamie what he would do during rain delays, you would eat food. But there has to be some kind of work going on, right, to mentally prepare or to just prepare to get back in that race car.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are going to go back and look at the data from Brad or from Christopher Bell to see what they can do better. I think also if you're a William Byron, the team's going to be able to look at that car. We think there might be a little bit of suspension damage on that. They can address that to see if there's anything that they can fix. But I mean, weather delays are just as bad for the drivers and the crews as they are people at home wanting to get the race restarted. The thing that sticks out to me about this is that there's still 150 laps to go. It's not like we're almost over. I mean, we're just honestly just past halfway in this. I think the track will change quite a bit. The fact that they're going to have to run the Air Titans on, the jet dryers, and get everything cooled down, the rubber all cleaned off of it, it could change the complexity of the race.
And the drivers get to go back to motorhomes, but it's the crew guys. How many times I've been walking through the garage and all the crew guys are sitting on the floor in the garage waiting out of rain, and this is already a really long race for these men and women who have to perform under pressure so many times over 600 miles.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make sure everybody they don't let their guards down. You have to keep them aware that we are going to go back racing. At least that's what we need to have to plan on. But I can promise you, kind of to Jamie's point on the driver's side, those crew chiefs, the engineers, they are walking through all the what-if situations. They are evaluating just exactly how much grip this racetrack's going to have, and probably we're going to see everybody come to pit road because we have been out there for a few laps on these tires, making the right adjustments to get us to the end of stage 3.
So currently under rain conditions out at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 249 laps in the books. We're just going to continue to fill and try to get you up till we get green flag racing going on again. I do want to talk about Tyler Reddick because I feel like that was another name, even when we were talking to Brad yesterday during the drivers only event. That was another name that he thought would be really fast and would be a contender starting in the back of the field. And was able to do what?
Yeah, he said that because he's fast every single week. It doesn't matter what track we go to. Tyler Reddick seems to be a contender. I think back to Las Vegas when he was running down Kyle Larson at the end of that race, a mile-and-a-half track. And Reddick just seems to have speed everywhere, and it was really impressive. He had to do a drive-through penalty on the first lap of the race, and he came out right in front of Ty Gibbs and actually gapped Ty Gibbs. And so you knew at that point he had a really good car. We hear, all of the drivers talk about how hard it is to pass. However, Charlotte, those tracks, it's really wide. You see guys run all the way up against the wall. If somebody's running against the wall, you run the middle lane and you run the bottom lane. And Reddick has been able to maneuver his way through the field. We know that he has a good car. Now, he's gotten up in that top 5 and hasn't been able to get to the lead yet. But again, he'll go back. He'll debrief with his crew chief. Hopefully they can make that car a little bit better. And I hate to keep harping on this, but the racetrack
box, they check that box almost every single week. But I think execution, that's what they have to make sure they do. How many more pit stops we're going to be making, but just nice, solid mistake-free pit stops, and then Tyler do his job on the racetrack. I think he can get up there and rub elbows with Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski, William Byron.
I'm going to switch gears for a second because there's one driver in the field that within the last month or so pulled 9 Gs in an F-16 with the U.S. Air Force. Can you guys guess who that is? Well, thank you.
Shannon told us 47 times.
Like Joey Logano. No?
Nobody had a clue.
So cool, and now y'all get to watch how that went down. Take a look. War space, or with Ray, she's the 77 Squadron Commander.
One thing this morning, boss. So let's get to go out and hit sanctions.
They're saying I might be able to marshal Joey in after he pulls his 9Gs. We're going to be part of this squadron today. Ready to fly?
Yes. Squadron is one of the units of Air Force solo squadrons. Wow. It's like the most fun job in the entire world. Just go fly fighter jets. Like, it's going to be better.
We gotta send the wifey a picture of you and them. What are you gonna do with Joey today?
So Joey and I are going to fly. I mean, I want to see what it can do, obviously. But I also don't really want to get sick.
Everything we're going to do today is the training maneuvers that we would do for any of our combat pilots as they get ready to fight and win our nation's wars.
So before we train,
You and I will be connected via a mic. Anytime that I'm going to full G's or I'm going to maneuver the airplane, I'll tell you. So, like, I won't say, hey, look left to, like, turn the airplane right. Stop trigger. Gotcha.
always a heads up was
Into the actual jet. So when I start to look, things on the jet start to move with me.
wow. Okay. So there, guys. Yeah. What's that? My kids. Five, four, three. Hit the clouds head on, straight up. It just pierced the clouds like a rocket ship.
Very glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you do it again?
It'd be a while. But it was awesome.
So this was so cool for me. I was able to go with Kyle Larson a couple years ago.
Did you go up in
I did not go up
Have
in
you
the
ever?
airplane. I have not. And I'll tell you, my father actually flew fighter pilots. He flew F-4s or fighter jets in Vietnam. And I love those planes so much, but I get so sick, so motion sickness that I'm afraid if I go up in them, it's going to totally change the way that I feel about those airplanes.
Well, I did it
Yeah, did you
years
go up?
ago, and I will tell you that when the canopy comes down, I was like, I don't want to be in here anymore. I got a little bit freaked out. I was like, oh no, yeah, and it's
Did you get sick?
Look, I mean, I grew up racing my whole life. I've driven fast cars. I have never ever felt anything like when they hit the afterburner and you take off and you know, and the it's obviously trying to scare you a little, and I'm game on for that. But when we turned and they went up, I'm like, it's unbelievable how powerful it is. The rolls they do, the flying upside down. For years at the track when they would do the flyover and you would hear that like
Yeah.
I was like, I would taste the vomit in my throat,
Exactly.
and I was like, don't ever want to do it again.
Did you pass out?
I'm apprehensive about going up in a Goodyear blimp, so.
Daniel Trueblood, his call sign is Rage. He was the commander that He did tell us how he got his call sign, and it was quite the story. I'll tell you when we go off air. 700 hours of combat he has. Yeah, so absolutely incredible. And the flight squadron that we were at, the Gamblers, is the oldest flight squadron in the Army from 1918. You walk in and there's this huge book of these pictures from Christmases and all of these events. So it was quite the experience, and we appreciate Charlotte Motor Speedway for allowing the drivers and for us to follow along and be immersed with all the branches of our military for the 600 miles of remembrance and Mission 600. It is an awesome experience. Right now, as you can see, we're sitting up here and we're not racing right now because we are under weather delay out of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 249 laps down. We still have 151 to go in the scheduled 600 miles of the 2024 Coca-Cola 600. And when we do get back into these race cars, the track is going to be very different. These cars may have even changed a little bit. So how do you advise your driver to approach kind of the first couple laps?
Well, I think this is where experience prevails, whether it's experience of a driver, whether it's experience of a crew chief of the team. They kind of have a notebook, you know. We don't have a big notebook, the Gen 7 car. This is only year 3, but you kind of know what this track does, what the tendencies are when the grip level goes up and the track gets free of rubber. It's kind of a green racetrack. Again, as I said a while ago, we know that one thing is the speeds are going to be way up, especially when they go back racing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's the longest race of the year. You get to have a break just past halfway to go back and get some fluids in your system, get a little bit of food. I mean, to me, depending on when we go back racing, is just tired are you, right? I mean, like I'm probably going back and drinking some coffee, something to kind of get some energy going. And just remember, there's still 150 laps left. That's a truck race, almost an Xfinity Series race. So it's a tremendous amount of racing that we still have left to go.
Let's the other Fords. Let's talk about Stewart Haas Racing because we know that there's some uncertainty moving with that team coming into the week. And Josh Berry, we've said his name a couple of times during this race as one of those guys that has been out front, and he's currently in the top 10.
Yeah, had a great run at Darlington, and I feel bad for all of those guys at Stewart Haas Racing right now because of the rumors that are circulating. All those guys are racing for a job. You know, if that team goes away, depending on where those charters might end up, that's where those guys are hoping that they can land another job. So all of those guys are driving for their careers right now, and it's unfortunate. Like Barry is starting to run better every single week. So unfortunate for them. Noah Gregson's had a great season.
He really has.
Drew comes in here and does hub with us during the week. It's been really impressive to see Noah getting in that car for the first year and the runs that he's been able to have.
Yeah, he's probably been one of the more pleasant surprises of 2024. I know he had his issues early tonight. He's actually out of the race, that 10 car. But you go back to Darlington, it was not just Josh Berry. They actually had 2 that finished inside the top 5. Spinning ahead to the All-Star race weekend at North Wilkesboro, I felt like they had some cars that ran off it good. So they're starting to gain on it. Are they ready just to drive into victory lane? I'm not sure I'm ready to put them in that category, but they are a far cry better than they were in 2023.
You know, as much as I love hearing my voice and your voice and your voice, we do have another driver that's joining us. They're bailing us out, Tyler Reddick. We're up here just filling some time with the rain delay. I guess, listen, we've documented your day, currently running 4th right now, but it was not an easy 4th, right? Starting in the back of the field. Can you just document how things have gone for you?
Yeah, honestly, at the start of it, with our passenger penalty, I thought for sure we were going to come out behind the leaders. So I was very surprised that we were able to come out in front of and the rest of the field there. And yeah, up until we fit, we were able to kind of drive away and maintain our lead. So I was feeling good about it. But unfortunately, our first pit stop sequence wasn't great. Gave up time, stuck behind those guys, and then the caution came right before I got around Jimmy Johnson for the free pass. So that just delayed our climb to the front. But stage 2, we made some good grounds. So we kind of got to 10, 15, somewhere in there, in that range. And then, further into like stage 3, we were able to have some good pit stops. 45 for doing a good job. We're doing a great job for a good time now. So we're getting there. The last restart wasn't ideal for us. Ty's obviously got a great car. He's been running right long, and just me and him got to racing real hard, and that lost our momentum and lost a little bit of position there. But we're in 4th. I think we're in good shape. like are been getting better as the night goes in. But as you guys mentioned a little earlier, with all this rain, it's going to kind of change the track and what we've been getting used to all night. So be interesting to see what it's going to be like here when we get back going.
So you mentioned the contact with Ty Gibbs. First off, is your car okay? And then you got to have a little bit of everything in this race. When you came out after doing the drive-through penalty, you were in clean air, so you kind of know what your car is like in clean air. As you mentioned, you're now in the top 5. Car drive's a little bit different. What do you need though to get up there and contend with Christopher Bell and Brad Keselowski?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think we're pretty solid. I think the biggest thing is just a better restart. The last two haven't been able to maintain as well. Lost a spot or two, and then have been in the position where I'm needing to pass somebody that I've already raced around a good bit again. So, and contact wise, I don't know if me and Ty really had any serious contact. We just really put up our momentum and it let one of the enemy fire and get by. So that's just it's the more disappointing thing than anything is we're racing hard for position and we kind of cost each other there. So that's a tough thing. So we'll try and make it better. But I think the biggest thing in restarts, I think get second, third, and in that range, and we get going and have a longer run. I think the track and our car comes to us.
I talk to you every single Monday on the radio show, and you and I have talked a lot about this. Kind of a very up and down season. Not necessarily as far as speed. You guys have speed every week. You go back and finish 4th in Texas. You had a great run at Las Vegas earlier in the year at a mile and a half. You finally get that win at Talladega. Where do you see, and I think we forget, this was supposed to be your first year. Last year was kind of a bonus. Where do you see yourself in the 45 team and Billy Scott right now?
I think we're in great shape. As you mentioned, the speed's there. I think the biggest thing is we just got to continue to find ways to execute all race long and not have these little mistakes, like I said. The way the last restart played out, that's just a little step in the road that can kind of put you back a spot or two. And at the end of the day, when you get close to the end of this race, it can be the difference between winning the race and finishing second or third. So we're just continuing to work on it. I think I wasn't quite at my best to start this race, to be honest, even though we were able to not lose the lap right away. But we've been able to work hard and dial it in. But I think for us, the more that we can, operate in the top 5, the more we're going to get with it. And it feels more like home. So if we can do that, I think the wins will come, and we'll continue to have some good opportunities to finish in the top 10 and knock on the door of top 5.
So we can, we're just a couple miles from the speedway here in the studios. We can hear the thunder, it's so loud. We can hear the rain.
It's just air conditioning unit, I think.
I think your air conditioner. I really think it is.
I think so. Yeah, I don't see any lightning or thunder, so I don't think it's that.
So it's letting up. We're looking at some shots right now, so it does look like it's letting up. What does Tyler Reddick do during rain delays?
Well, once I knew we were under lightning hold, I took an opportunity to rinse off after overhydrating in the race. So that's I'm in street clothes right now. I went and grabbed another suit off the hauler and ran to the bus, rinse off, so I'm ready to go.
Trash bag.
Yeah, I grabbed that.
Stories with it. We let you go. I want to ask you. We've asked the other drivers that have been joining us about the moment of silence, about the day in general. Jacob Frazier, Staff Sergeant Jacob Frazier, is on the front of your window. Maybe you can just share some insight into him.
Yeah, he's it was great to spend some time with his family earlier today. He lost his life in Afghanistan, but it's an honor to carry him on the race car. Like I said, getting to spend some time with his family was cool. And, I always have a little bit extra motivation to perform well and get his family to victory lane. Having the moment of silence is always a very powerful moment in this race. I mean, this is a long race, 400 lap, 600 mile race. And for us to bring it all to the stop for a moment and recognize the sacrifices that servicemen and women have given is important. So, we'll hopefully get this race going back green, and we get Jacob Frazier's family in victory lane.
Well, is that moment of silence for you guys inside the race car just so loud and so much going on, and then you just pull down and kind of reflect for a few moments?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very unique. Normally, our opportunity to kind of reflect and relax under caution, still driving a race. So to have that moment, think and reflect is important. Tyler, there's obviously been the discussion the last month with Kyle Larson doing the Indy double. I'm just curious, how much attention did you pay to that? And do you have any desire to maybe go try to do the Indy 500 one day? I have that desire to do a lot of things, Jamie. That's for sure. When it comes to driving race cars, but yeah, I feel like I had to ask Billy Scott about 5 times. Hey, where's Kyle running? Before he finally, like 20 minutes later. Like, I know we're in this race and it's serious. We're trying to get to the front, but it was like, come on, like, just don't worry about it. If he ran good, finished good, it's give me a little bit extra motivation. But they finally told me to finish 18th, I think. So got there right. We were kind of busy on the racetrack, but I was definitely looking forward today to seeing how he did on the racetrack. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out, but this Sunday is always really special for me as a driver, but also the fan of motorsports. You have the Monaco Grand Prix in the morning that I love waking up for and watching. And typically when Indy's not delayed, it's fun to really take that racing in and see the ending as we're preparing for the race. So hopefully in the near future I can figure out how to make it happen. I can see Alexa's not really too excited about that idea. It's a good plan. Yeah, it's like 240. Like 240, Alexa. Too fast.
With one factor, it was called a pit road speeding penalty. Unfortunately, that was one of the factors.
Oh, Alexa over here telling me to do something, but she forgets that I'm basically the cameraman. I gotta hold this thing still, so I'm trying not to move around, get all crazy. She's like, do something. I'm like, I gotta hold the camera still.
Tyler, I'll give you some advice. Yes, dear.
Always. You're right. You're right, dear.
Yes, dear. Tyler, thank you for joining us, running fourth right now. Good luck when this race restarts.
Yeah, I need to hurry up and dry out because Alexa and all my family and friends in here are a lot of opinions about my interview skills. So I'm ready to get back to the hauler and get ready to get back at the car.
We're enjoying the race. See you, Tyler. Have fun out there.
All right, thank you.
It's so cool to hear these guys talk about wanting to know where Kyle was in that race. And that really talks about, I remember covering the 600 and everyone on the back of the pit boxes, all the TVs would have the 600 or the 500 on and everyone, all the pit crew guys, everyone would be watching it. And this was just another connection to it.
Yeah, and I think we've talked a lot about it in here over the last month, especially on Hub. Just what a humble individual that Kyle Larson is. And I think the IndyCar drivers were really embracing him being up there. I think all of his competitors here in the Cup Series, they were embracing what he was doing. And you heard Tyler say it. He wanted to know, it's a competitor every Sunday, but he still wanted to know how he was doing up there in the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, they had that massive TV, on the backstretch at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And when that first got put up and they started putting the Indy 500 on that, I remember guys being in the tech line staring at that, wanting to know how it was going. But most guys were in the same position. Everyone wants to know how he's going to do. And Larry has a really good point. I feel like Larson has earned the respect of any series that he goes and races in. I think there was a time when if an IndyCar driver came to NASCAR or vice versa, that maybe that certain group didn't want them to do well. They wanted to think that, well, this is harder, this is more difficult, but I don't think it's that way anymore, and I think that all those guys embrace Larson.
Like Larson trying to attempt the Indy 500 Coca-Cola 600 double was one of the big stories coming into this race weekend. Another one of the big stories took place post-race, the All-Star event, and of course was the post-race fight between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Let's remind you how that went down.
He's done. Parked in Bush's box, stand up to have a word.
I said, hey, let your driver know that I'll be waiting for him after the race. I gave extra room, and he smashed my door. It doesn't matter when you feel like you've been wrong, you do what you gotta do. How do you find that vehicle? Try and just watch out first. Maybe Richard will hold my watch after the race.
Here comes Kyle. Tired of getting run over by everybody. He's going to be $10 work as well.
Joey Logano fired up, and we've got a fight going on right now between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Tangle here in the infield, and add a few more fireworks. I see people like calls. Lost fight.
Yeah, that's retaliation. This thing got serious. You can hear it crack, man.
My emotions were up and down. That's for $200.
Busch gets his frustrated individual right now.
That sound like.
Experience I used to, I'm a little older. When I see him, I'm going to tell him, but I've just changed my style of fight. He'll carry the rough past me. That's Richard. I mean, it's fine. He's giving us our support and having our back, so appreciate that.
I don't really have to say a whole lot about the fines or the situations. I got Charlotte's going to take care of. Richard Childress is a national treasure, as is Bob Walker's with that shot. And the internet defeated, because if you were on the internet after that race last weekend, it was a really funny place.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Honkers, he was all over the place, but Bob was right there doing what he was doing. But I want to go back to the Stenhouse Kyle Busch deal. You know, when we talked about it on the pre-race show, when we left the studio a week ago, I said, there is no way this is over. I don't even think this has really scratched the surface. It's going to keep growing. But I think things that transpired throughout the week, I know Richard Childress, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., they had a conversation. And at the end of the day, whether you're Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Kyle Busch, you need to get focused on being competitive. I mean, you're looking at Kyle Busch. He's 8 points above the cut line.
Yeah.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 122 points below the cut line. The only way that 47 makes the playoffs, he's going to have to go out there and win a race. You don't need to be focused on each other. Focus on getting your cars performing better.
Yeah, and I hate the fact that Stenhouse got fined, and I feel like most of the drivers are on the same page here, where we want drivers to show their personalities, and then when they do, I don't like the fact that he got penalized. I don't think that we have fighting every week. If there were penalties, these are pretty rare occurrences. The fact that he walked over and he was mad and was able to confront him, and I mean the most interesting part of that fight is that for the first 20 seconds of it, you're like, oh, he's definitely going to hit him. There's no doubt there's going to be a fight. And then it almost seemed like Kyle Busch was getting ready to be like, you know what, you're right. Stenhouse had already made his point that he was mad. And so, I don't know, I wish we could find a balance on the fines versus drivers going over and showing some personality.
But I think one thing that NASCAR task, and they always have, is, they tried to let drivers handle it between themselves. But when you start getting two full crews involved, you start getting relatives involved. And one of those relatives sort of... 47 crew member, I mean, he pushed a NASCAR official, security officer, and I think that's where NASCAR really took a long, hard look at what transpired there, and the reason some of those suspensions certainly came down.
Something tells me that Mike Joy has to kind of step in the middle of Clint and Kevin from time to time and kind of keep them separated. $75,000 fine is a lot, Clint and Kevin, so no punches up there.
That's why I stand on the end, so I can't get in the middle. I'm going to go all the way back to 1979 and the Daytona 500. And after the race, Donnie and Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough got into it because Cale and Donnie crashed on the way to the checkered flag out of the race. And then there was a big televised fight on CBS. And NASCAR fined each of those three heavily and then use the fight footage to promote the sport for the next 40 years. So here we are.
It put us on the map.
And
look at last week.
It did it again last week.
Logano won $1 million. No, we could have saved ourselves a lot of money and just handed out. Heck, we could have made $75,000.
So what fans are asking is, can NASCAR, on the one hand, slap the hand of everybody involved, and on the other hand, hey, come see this?
Kevin, you got plenty of experience in it.
Been there, done that, and yes, they can. They can live on both sides of the fence, and you want to tell you why? Because they can. It doesn't seem like it makes much sense to find the guys and promote the guys, but there are two sides to this whole equation. You've got corporate America, You got to keep them happy.
Yes.
And then you've got to try to promote the sport on the other hand. So sure, the sanctioning body can have it both ways. They've had it both ways, whether it's NASCAR, the NBA, the NFL. They do this the same way. So to the guys that were in the altercation, I think Ricky Stenhouse is learning a lot about what comes with these types of altercations and how you have to deal with it the weeks after. And when I went to Stewart Haas Racing, that was the very first thing that Rodney Childers told me. He said, "We are not going to have to deal with this. We're going to give you fast cars, and we're gonna handle things on the racetrack. We don't need any extracurricular activity for these things to happen. When you're not running good, sometimes you need to be the story, Clinton, and these guys are definitely the story. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, they stole the thunder. There's no question about it. Again, nobody even knew Joey Logano won $1 million last week. They knew that was all the headlines, right? The only thing I have a problem with it is just be consistent. This thing, this needle moves all the time, right? You have to figure out where that is. If I'm going to go over there, you see retaliation on the racetrack. Sometimes it's penalty, sometimes it's not. This was retaliation.
So here's my only counter to that. It's not consistent. Like when you saw Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson have their altercation, it was the two of them and two NASCAR security guards. This one was like Larry said, there was all kinds of
payback on the racetrack.
All kinds of things.
Payback on the racetrack.
That part was different.
What'd you say that big guy was?
We called him Big Country. He was my gas man on my car when I started there, and he was cleaning house.
But here's the shirt he's wearing today. So everybody's having, Ricky maybe, a little fun with this. With T-shirts. There is a T-shirt of the fight we saw that several fans had on. There are T-shirts of Bob Pockrass's expression as he got knocked over backwards. Now, Bob has suggested that Ricky auction off his shorts that he was wearing to help pay the fine.
That'd be the first thing I do is get rid of those shorts.
If you have an excuse to get
rid of those shorts and somebody actually give you some money for it, you should get rid of those shorts right now, Ricky.
Yep, that's Bob Pockras, our NASCAR insider who was a little too far inside of the ring at North Wilkesboro.
Was that
within this moment he knew he was too close.
Oh, so that wasn't his reaction to what the shorts look like.
No,
I got you.
I don't think so. He was getting bowled over.
I got you.
In the melee there. So, we can have a little fun with it. It just shows how close the emotions run to the surface all the time in this sport. And yeah, you can get knocked out at lap 2, and then after lap 200, you can go work it out.
Speaking of a reaction, what do we got going on out there,
Well,
guys?
about an hour ago, it was raining sideways here, and it was lightning, and it was thunder, and NASCAR, nobody would have blamed NASCAR for calling the race at that moment. There was water 3 and 4 inches deep on pit road. But now, the jet dryers and the NASCAR track drying system, the Air Titans, they are out in full force, and they are working to get this track dry, even as we still see lightning in the distance. So, folks, we're not done yet.
We may have started today, but it looks like we're going to end tomorrow.
All right. So, Shannon, I guess we resolved hardly anything, except that racing can be a lot of fun on a...
That sounded in line with what they were doing.
We're going to not resolve
Larry
anything.
and Jamie exactly agreed.
You guys, we'll just keep doing what you do up there. It's awesome. You heard the guys talking about the way things are going to change. We see those jet dryers out there right now. You still see the fans that are still in the stands, which is great because it was such a great scene out there today, wasn't it?
Well, and that's the thing. And I really applaud the way NASCAR handles these weather situations now, is because most of my years as a crew chief, we did not have all the weather equipment. It was kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Maybe it's going to rain, maybe it's not. Maybe we'll wait it out. The equipment they have to dry these racetracks now, and if they feel like for those fans in those stands that you just talked about, they can get this thing under green and we can get to the checkered flag, they're going to make every effort they can to get us back on the racetrack racing.
They sure are. What'd you think about the scene down there today? Sold out crowd at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh yeah, honestly, I mean, I went over there for practice and qualifying yesterday, and I hadn't been to the racetrack in a couple of times this year, and just the energy when you get to the racetrack, and the smell of the rubber and the fuel, like everything that goes with that. And it's incredible the energy that's out the track.
It is. Let's check in with another driver out at the racetrack right now. That driver would be Josh Berry. Started the race 13th, currently in the 10th position. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join us. Tell us about your day up until this point, 249 laps in, Josh.
Yeah, it's been pretty solid for us, really. Obviously, starting 13th was pretty good spot for us. We've gotten stage points in both stages, so feel pretty good about our car. I mean, it seems like we're able to maintain right around the top 10, back of the top 10. So overall, I feel like I'm learning a lot, getting better throughout the race, and we'll just have to see how the track changes and what we're gonna have when we finish this thing out.
So, Josh, you're getting better throughout the race. Now, look at this four car. You guys are getting better throughout the season. We know it was a tough start to that four car to get going in 2024. But let's face it, last year was a real down year for Stewart Haas Racing. But you guys have to feel like y'all are making some gains. Got that third place finish at Darlington. It was actually your first top 10 of the season.
Yeah, I don't really feel like that we got off to a bad a start as it looked like on paper. We had a lot of strong races that we just didn't get the finish that we deserved, really. And even on some of our the days that were the toughest for us, I guess, we saw the improvements that we make throughout the race, and getting the car faster, getting myself more comfortable, all those things throughout each and every race. So I feel like we've been in the position to have, 4 or 5 top 10s pretty easy. Whether that's just been things happen on pit road or mistakes that I've made. So I think it's starting to come together. Obviously, I think Rodney.
All right. So excuse me. We have been under a red flag for a little bit now. I'm surprised Fox hasn't taken a commercial break during this whole thing. I haven't taken a commercial break during red flag, but boy, when we get back to racing, I'm sure they'll take a few commercial breaks. Funny how that works out, isn't it? But anyway, uh, this entire red flag sequence has been lasting about an hour now. Thank you for everybody tuning in. I did step away for a little bit, refill on water on multiple occasions, ate my dinner, went to the bathroom. Here we are, and still under red flag conditions. The track drying process is underway right now as we look to get this race in at a later time. We have been streaming ever since 4:30 this afternoon for the start of the Indianapolis 500. Not all in this stream. I had about a 5 to 10 minute break between streams. Obviously, we weren't live for the early going of this race. I didn't actually get to the live stream until about 150 laps in. So we missed the first 150 laps. Just a quick refresher: William Byron won stage 1, Christopher Bell won stage 2, and your current leaderboard, as you see on the screen, has Christopher Bell in the lead, Brad Keselowski second, and William Byron third. Tyler Reddick right there behind him in fourth, as he started at the rear end of the field. We're going to do some trivia. We've done this during a couple of red flag periods already this season. Oddly enough, we really haven't had many rain delays outside of Daytona at the very start of the season. The only rain delays we've had have been literally these last 3 weeks. This week, North Wilkesboro, with practice and qualifying on that Friday night, and the truck race obviously being on that rain delay as well. And now the week before that, Kansas, sorry, yeah, 2 weeks before that at Kansas, Arlington didn't have a delay, but yeah, so now 3 of 4 consecutive racing weeks, we've seen a lot of rain delays. But yeah, we've been live for a little over 6 hours, and it looks like we aren't going to be going away anytime soon. We still got quite a ways to go in this race, yet about 150 laps. Anyway, we're going to do some trivia. I pulled up a trivia quiz of Coke 600 winners. This only goes to 2001, so actually let me back out of this real quick and see if I can find a more up-to-date one that has the last couple of seasons on there, just for the heck of it. Let's see if this one's got all 64. Yep, this one's got 64. And we get 2 extra minutes, which I will take that. All right, so gonna try to name every Coca-Cola 600 winner in NASCAR Cup Series history. This is only the 600 at Charlotte, so we'll see if we can get it done. I know quite a few of these. I'm sure we can get above the average score collectively. I'll try to tag you guys in as a chat to see if we can complete this, and we'll do trivia until the race gets back underway. So I appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Be sure to hit the like button as well if you haven't Done so yet. Our goal was to at least get to 100. Again, we couldn't stream the full race, unfortunately, with the Indy 500 running long and doing commentary for that. But heck, man, if we get to 150 still this weekend, even with a, well, technically a longer stream, but not the full race, that'd be insane. All right, let's get this trivia underway then. Coke 600 winners. I'm going to try to go in descending order by way of year until I can't anymore. And then I'm just going to start throwing names out there. So last year's winner was Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin won in 2022. 2021, I was there for Larson's 600 win. Keselowski was in 2020. Keselowski. 2019 was Truex. Truex also had one in 16. 2018 would have been Kyle Busch, I do believe. Let me see if that's right. I'm pretty sure Kyle Busch won the. Yeah, it was Kyle Busch in 2018. Austin Dillon got his first career win in 2017. 2015 was Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson in 14. Johnson. 2013 was Kevin Harvick. And Harvick also in 2011. Casey Kane won 2012. 2010 was Kurt Busch, which I would have had on there from Kyle Busch already. David Rudiman won a rain-shortened Coke 600 in 2009. Then Casey Kane in 08 and 06 again. Casey Mears, fuel mileage win in 07. Johnson won 3 in a row, 05, 04, and 03. We get to 2002. That was Mark Martin's win, started 25th. I talked about that earlier in the day. Jeff Burton won in 2001 and 1999. Matt Kenseth, his first career win in 2000 in his rookie season, won the Coke 600 and his only 600 win at that time. Jeff Gordon won 3 times, 98, 97, and then his first career win was in 94. So Gordon on the list. 1996 was Dale Jarrett. 1995 would have been Labonte. Yep, Bobby Labonte. 1993 and 92 is Dale Sr. Earnhardt. 1991 would have been Allison. Davey Allison, of course. That's going to give me the Bobby wins as well. Rusty Wallace in 1990. 1989 would have been Darrell Waltrip. That's going to give me 88 and 85. Earnhardt won in 86. In 1987, it would have been. Is that Ricky Rudd? No, Ricky Rudd was not the 21 car at that time. Who was in the 21? That was the first one I got wrong. Was 1987. 1987. Morgan Shepherd, I don't think was in that car yet. Yeah, and I don't remember him winning the 600. 1987, 21. Who raced for the Wood Brothers then? Michael Waltrip. Around that time, I think that was after. Pearson obviously wasn't racing at that time yet. Who was in the 21 car? Might have to skip that. I'm gonna skip that and go back. 82 also in the. I mean, I'll put Pearson because I know he's on this list. But yeah, that wasn't it. That bothers me that I don't know that. 28 car. I think that one's Fireball Roberts. No, it is not. Never mind. It might have been 27 car. 28. These 1961s, let me tell you. The 14's got to be AJ Foyt, right? No. That ain't it. That ain't it. Now we're Oh, let's get Petty in there. He's won a few. Some Richard Petties. I wonder if Lee Petty was on there at all. Nope, he was not. Joe Lee Johnson, by the way, in the 89. I'm going to put Jimmy Johnson in, so I got a freebie out of that. Oh man, this is where it gets tough. Number 3 card, 1968. I mean, I'll put Yarborough in here because I'm sure he's on the list. Oh wow, Kelly Yarborough never won. Leroy Yarborough in the 98. Okay, so Leroy won in 69. I'm surprised Kelly Yarborough never won a Coke 600. 75 car. I think Dave Marcus did. No, he did not. Okay, Dave Marcus did not win Coke 600. Pete Hamilton? He did not. I saw the 42 car on there. I wonder if that might have been him. It wasn't. Dang, who have I not? Probably the Bakers. Was that the Wood Brothers? I think so. I think it was. Oh, Kyle Petty was in the Wood Brothers car in 87. I put Richard Petty in there and I got credit for Kyle too. I didn't realize Kyle Petty drove the 21 car at that time. At least it got it right. I remember of him driving for the Wood Brothers, but I didn't think he won a Coke 600 with them, but I guess he did. Bobby Allison in 84. Didn't get that set. Where did okay, Buddy Baker was 72. I saw the STP car on there. 72, 73 for Buddy Baker. And 68. I realized Buddy Baker raced in the 60s. I don't know why I thought he was more 70s and 80s, but probably Benny Parsons. Yeah, Parsons is on here. I don't know where. Counted it. Benny Parsons in 1980. Some other names from the 60s that I could be missing. Eunuch get one? No. What about Weatherly? No, Joe Weatherly's not on here. I'm gonna make sure I'm spelling his name correctly, but I'm pretty sure I did. Joe Weatherly. Yeah, I spelled it right. All right. Well, Joe Weatherly's not on the list. I already tried Fireball Roberts. What are the names from the 60s have I not done yet? I know the chat's probably going crazy now. I've done so good by myself. I almost want to know if I could. Yeah, I just figured I'd put that in there. Who else? Lund? No, it was more 50s. Who else is an old name? I mean, Red Byron was way before this. Yeah. Curtis Turner. Oh, he didn't win one either. Wow. Wood Brothers in 1982. I don't think Tim Richmond ever drove for them. I think he was strictly Hendrick when he won. Yeah. And he never won a 600. Man, that 1982 one's bothering me. Who drove the 75? Hodgdon Chevrolet. I mean, we're missing 82, 83, and just a ton in the 60s. I'll look at the chat now. Neil Bonnet, thank you. Yeah, that was the 21 car. As soon as I saw that name, Yep, Neil Bonnet. Oh, he was in the 75 also. Okay, I did not know that. So Neil Bonnet was 82 and 83, two different cars. I do remember of him driving for the Wood Brothers. Now we just got a bunch in the 60s. We got 62 through 67 on here. I've named like every name from the 60s that I can think of. Yeah, it's not Bill Elliott. He never won a 600. It has been a long day. Do we have any names from the 60s? Don't Google it either. Just, I mean, I've named all of them I can think of, and like none of them were on here. There's got to be more I can think of that I'm just not thinking of. Oh man, from the 60s. Like I said, I tried Turner, Weatherly, Roberts. Lee on here. Pete Hamilton wasn't on here. Dave Marcus in the late 60s. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've tried a lot. Is there a Williams? That would have been a pull. Just a random dude. Cotton Owens? Oh man. Yeah, that might have been 50s. I'm thinking guys from the 50s that just aren't on here because they didn't race into the 60s. It's weird. I mean, it's like I can think of guys that are like from the 40s and 50s, and then I can think of guys in the late 60s into the modern era, 70s, 80s. I don't know mid 60s well at all. That stumped us on the Daytona 500 quiz. We were 2 away. We were 6 away here. Outside of Neil Bonnet, though, I got everything else. I'm proud of myself on this. Bobby Isaac. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he's not on here. I tried. I might have spelled his name wrong. Oh my goodness, Fred Lorenzen. I probably should have gotten that. I think I'm. Whoa. Add Sweet Bees Barbecue. Jim Pascal, Marvin Panch, Fred Lorenzen, Nelson Stacy. We were 4 names away. I don't think I ever would have circled around to Nelson Stacy. I don't know exactly who that is, to be completely honest. I feel like I've heard the name before, but yeah, I couldn't even think of like a random black and white picture as to what he would look like. But yeah, Fred Lorenzen, I feel like I could have circled around to that at some point. Marvin Pants, Jim Pass, definitely names I've heard of. Nelson Stacy, I would have never gotten, I don't think. But the others, maybe if I had 20 more minutes, I could have randomly thought about it. I did good though, I will say. Yeah, it wasn't Flock. That was too far before this. It's more 50s. We did get past the average score though. 91%. Average score was 70, so definitely did a pretty good job there. So let's go and try to find another one while we're still waiting a rain delay. Figured we'd do the Coke 600 quiz with it being the Coke 600. I can do Indy 500 too. I don't know how many of you guys are going to know that. I mean, I guess we can. It's Indy 500 race day still. 108. Oh my goodness. Top 5 finisher since 71. Probably have a better chance at that, but we'll go winners. This only goes back to 1946, though. We do not have 08, or back to 1908 on here. And this has 2020. This is like literally up to date, like as of today. 10 minutes. That's all we get. I'll do the best I can. So this is every Indy 500 post World War II from 1946 onward, but it doesn't have anything before that. So it's only got the last 79 years. I think I could do fairly well for myself. Obviously I'm a big NASCAR fan. I know names from IndyCar, but obviously it's not my expertise. There's gonna be a lot of names in the 80s and 90s I probably don't know, but great racing names I've heard from the 60s and 70s that I can get on here. So I feel like the 80s is gonna be kind of my weak point. But honestly, like, I mean, Rick Mears won a lot of them around that time. I might be able to do better than what I'm thinking I can. So we'll go Joseph Newgarden because he obviously has won the last two. Newgarden. No, Ryan Hunter Ray. I probably got to put Hunter Ray. Hunter Ray has won in recent years. Montoya has a couple. Castro Neves has 4. 2022. Well, Paginot's on here too. Pagin, I don't know how to spell his name. Yeah, I don't know how to spell Simon Paginot's name. I have to Google it. Go Simon Paginot. I was close. Paginot. I still spell it wrong. I Googled it and I still spell it wrong. Paginot. Am I not? What am I missing here? I'm wasting a lot of time on this. Pagin AUD. It's not letting me spell it. AUD. I swear I spelled that like 5 times. Apparently I didn't. Oh geez, back to getting this. Tony Kanaan. It's gonna be on this list. I don't realize how long ago like Hunter Ray and Kanaan won their 500s. Geez. Rossi. 16. Doesn't even feel like it was that long ago already. Sato's in there a couple times. I know Frankiti's got 3. That was 2 T's. Yeah. His last was 2012. I was wondering when his last one was. Will Power. It's 18. 2022. Why am I? Oh my gosh! You know what's sad about that is I was there. It was the only Indy 500 I was ever in attendance for, and it took me the longest to get. Marcus Ericsson. I don't know how to spell his. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. I got around to it. Dan Weldon was 2011. Well done. And 2005. Hornish. Hometown was less than an hour from where I live. Fittipaldi. Emerson Fittipaldi, 89, 93. Just throw Foyt and Andretti on there. Andretti's just got the 1. Rick Mears. Who's some other names from the 90s? I know that my guy Parnelli Jones, 1963. Oh, Unser. That's bad. Ugh. Senior and junior. Yeah, the 90s are tough for me. I didn't realize Hornish was 06. I would have thought that was earlier. 03 and 04 is tough for me. What, like, Johnny Rutherford, that's a good one. It's 3-time winner. Villeneuve, yeah, that's right. That was one from the 90s. And I spelled his name wrong. There we go. Somebody said Ray Hall. Oh, yeah, Bobby Ray Hall. I was like, Graham Ray Hall's never won. Yeah, Bobby did. 86. No, I don't work tomorrow. Thank goodness. Oh yeah, Scott Dixon. That was 08. I don't realize how long ago it's been since he won his Indy 500. 15 years ago already? 16. 16 years ago. I do have Mario Andretti on there. Jim Rathman. That's a pull. No, that ain't it. Or Hamilton on here? Nope. Or Williams? Nope. Or Johnson on here? No. I tried. Or Arnelli Jones, I know. I did all the basic white guy last names. No, Pearson's not on there. Danny Sullivan in 86? No, Ray Hall was 86. I already got that. But I'll put the name on there in case he ever won one. Scott Goodyear. I don't even know who that is. Is that the man who created Goodyear Tire? Couldn't tell you. Paul Tracy. I don't know if he won one. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think he won one. Yarborough, Dale Yarb. Nope. Yeah, I don't even know who that is either. To be completely honest. Danny Sullivan. That was the name I was supposed to put in there. Sullivan. Sullivan was 85. By the way. Yeah, pause the timer real quick so I can get the laptop on our charger. Keep thinking though. Still waiting for the race to come out from a rain delay. Slept in slightly today. Got up about 7:30 this morning. Been up ever since. All right, let's resume. What other names we have? I don't think I have any. I don't think there's any I would have forgotten. Those early 2000 ones, like I know the names when I see them, but I don't. People roasted me for not spelling Pageant right. Ari Lyondike. Oh yeah. How do you spell that? Hopefully your spelling's correct. Oh jeez. Lion. Like spelling. Yeah. That's not how you spell it. We'll Google real quick. I'll pause it to Google. Ari Ly. Oh, I still got Pageant on there. Ari Lyondike. You were close. U-E-N. I think you had I-N. U-E-N. Dike. U Y N Dike. Yeah, already line Dike twice. That was the 90s. 97 and 1990. Who are some other ones that I do not have? I don't think there were any like NASCAR guys other than like Foyt and Andretti, which were mainly open wheel, but they did win 500s as well. I feel like those early 80s. I know of the name Gordon Smiley. I don't think he ever won a Indy 500. Yeah, I figured I'd put him on there though. R.I.P. Yeah, Robbie Gordon didn't win 500. Yeah. He came close though. He almost won a fuel mileage one a long time ago. Yeah, 03, 04. I'll know the names when I see them. I know they're tough spelling. They're not American names if I can think of it that way, at least correctly. There isn't any like F1 guys from the 90s other than Villeneuve, right? Is Villeneuve the only F1 guy in the 90s that won an Indy 500 like there wasn't any other ones? Emerson Fittipaldi. Oh, I already got that. Hang on. No, I already put that in already. Yeah, it was 93 and 1989. I was going to say, wait a minute. Penske's won 19 of them. I don't think I've gotten all their drivers. Well, 20 of them today now. But yeah, I don't think I have them all. Couldn't tell you who all raced for them either. I mean, I've done all I can do here. 52 out of 79. Oh, Gordon Johncock. Yeah, that's one I should have had. I did put Jim Rathman on there, but I only had one N instead of two. Jim Clark, F1 champion. I knew there were some F1 champions on there. I just thought they were like more in the 90s, but yeah, I forgot about that. Mark Donahue, same thing. Yeah, there's some names on there I definitely could have gotten if I maybe had more time to think about it. Yeah, I don't know who George Robson is, Maury Rose, Johnny Parsons, Lee Wallard, Troy Ruttman, Bill Vukovich. He won back-to-back Indy 500s, 53, 54. Bob Swelkert, Pat Flaherty, Sam Hanks, Jimmy Bryan. Congratulations to all of those names that I just named. They won Indy 500s in the 40s and 50s that I would have never gotten. That Jill did Ferran. I definitely know of the name now that I see it, but that was one of the weird ones where I knew it was a weird name in the 2000s, but I couldn't think of it. I just remember the name being weird. Buddy Rice, 04. Yeah, that's an American name, I think. Well, I didn't get it though. Tom Sneva's another one from the 80s I definitely know of. In fact, actually, that the Gordon Johncock finish, that was the closest Indy 500 finish up to that point. I can definitely remember watching the finish of that race. If you haven't watched the finish of the 1982 Indy 500, I highly recommend it. It's like, I mean, it's a classic. I don't know why I didn't think of Jordan, or I keep saying Jordan, Gordon Johncock. But yeah, that's one I definitely should have gotten because I've watched the finish of that race before. Stuff like that didn't happen in the 80s. Like a finish like that is like a finish like we would see now with the way the drafting is and everything. They were doing that back in the 80s when the cars were way more dangerous. it was just crazy. Eddie Cheever Jr., Buddy Lazier, I definitely know of the name there. Kenny Brack. Actually, Buddy Lazier just passed away recently, didn't he? Like within the last year or two. But yeah, there's definitely some names on there I know. Every one from like 1959 and before that, I definitely don't know those names. But the other ones I've at least heard their names before, so I might be a NASCAR guy, but I at least know some stuff. Parsons, not Pearson. I did get Parnelli Jones. I do know of the great Parnelli Jones, greatest racing name in racing history. We did get above average. Average score was only 45%, which I'm surprised it was as low as it was. But we got 66, so we did get above average in the first two quizzes. All right. Now, still under a delay, so we'll find another one. These are fun, you know. Trying to do different ones I haven't done before. I definitely didn't do that one, but today was a good day to do it. Indy 500 was earlier. Most wins never a champion. I just feel like it's gonna be too easy. We've done all-time winners. NASCAR drivers 2008 is interesting. I keep seeing that on there, and I think it's because with it being the first year of Car Tomorrow, there were some like entrances that had like over 50 cars almost every week. So I feel like that's why this is on here as much as it is. Let's see how well we remember 2008 NASCAR. 49 drivers made a cup start. I'm surprised it wasn't more than that. I might be able to get this all. Now, I'm going to add to the fact that I was only 9 years old this season, 9 going on 10 this season, so bear with me, all right? I was a young kid at this time, but we'll see. We're going to go McDowell. Was in the 00. The 01, that was Regan Smith, because he got robbed at Dega that year. Truex was in the 1. Truex. I don't like that we only have 10 minutes for this. The 2 at this time was Kurt Busch. I almost said Keselowski, not yet. And we got Kyle Busch at the 18. 17 was Kenseth. So that Greg Biffle was in the 16. I'll tell Dodge, that was Ryan Newman. Quaker State 15, that was Paul Menard. Hamlin in the 11 still. Number 10 was Scott Riggs, Valvoline. Oh, Riggs was in the 66. Carpentier, was he in the... Oh, yeah. Let's go. Casey Kane, number 9. Number 8, Mark Martin and Almirola. 7 was Robbie Gordon. We're going to get Jeff Gordon with that as well. 07 Jack Daniels was still Boyer. David Reagan was in the 6 at that time. CarQuest number 5 was Casey Mears. 19 was Sadler. 20 was still Stewart. 21 Wood. Yeah, John Wood. Who else was in that car? Is Ricky Rudd still there? No. Man, there's 3 drivers in the 21 that year. My goodness. 22 was Blaney. We'll skip that and go back. 21. I did remember John Wood. I don't know off the top of my head the other ones. The 99 car was Carl Edwards. Let's get the ones we know for sure here. And we'll circle back. 26 was McMurray. Roush. 28. I mean, if Rudd wasn't even in that car yet, skip it. Shell 29 was Harvick. 31 was Jeff Burton at that time. 38 was Gilliland. Oh, I forgot about Rudiman in the 00 split starts. Rudiman, and he was also in the 44, so I gave us 2 of them. Waltrip in the 55. Lowe's 48, Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Petty was in the 45. There's another driver in the 45. There's 2 of them. Who else was in the 40? We'll skip it. Labonte, I think, was still in the 43. Oh, Terry was in the 45. All right, there we go. Texaco 42 was, no, Mears was already in the, shoot, Montoya at that time. That's right. He was a rookie in 07. Target, Sorensen was in the 01. The 40. Stremme. Oh, it wasn't Stremme. Gotta make sure I'm spelling his name correctly. David Stremme. I had it right. Wow, David Stremme wasn't in the 40 then. I wonder. We'll skip it. Geez, 78. Furniture Row at that time? I know Scott Speed was one of the Red Bull. Scott Speed wasn't there yet? Thought he was one of the Red Bull cars. Vickers would have been one of them. If Scott Speed wasn't the other Red Bull car, I don't know who would have been. Hornish was in the 78. I didn't think that was Furniture. Oh, no, he was 77, Mobile 1. My bad. Furniture Row Racing. In my head, I just didn't think they existed until Kurt Busch drove for him. Or Regan Smith, excuse me. But it ain't Regan Smith. Tony Raines was in the 96. What? Maybe he wasn't. Never mind. I thought he was. I mean, he was, but apparently not in 2008. Long, I think, was in the 70. No, Carl Long was not in the 70. Oh, boy. Oh, we're hitting the wall here. Oh, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. I was thinking I might have had that already. I did not. Okay. Yeah, now we've hit a wall. Got 41. Some back marker guys that I probably haven't named yet. Is Green on Jeff Green? No. He did not make a start. I don't think Buckshot Jones raced at this time. Travis Quaffel's a good one. Yeah, is Jason Leffler on here? No. Who else might have been? It's well after Casey Atwood, yeah. Forrest said. Did he make a road course start? No. Ron Fellows? Get these road course ringers out of here. Franchitti? Yeah, Dario was in the 40. That makes sense with Ganassi. Sterling Marlin was not in the 40, but he might have been somewhere in here. No, he was not. Is Jeremy Mayfield in a random? No, he was not. I wonder if he might have been like in the 70 or something. Morgan Shepherd, was he on here? Or was he just Xfinity at this time? I gotta get to the right page. Morgan Shepherd. No, Morgan Shepherd was not on this list yet. That other Red Bull entry, how is it not Scott Speed? Wow. Oh, man. The other 21 rides, too. Trying to think back. See, like, I never had NASCAR 08 or NASCAR 09 as a game. I had 07, but that would have been the 06 season. Who was in the 21 in that game, at least? I don't know. Did, for some reason, like, Hornaday ever? Todd Bodine? Or were they just, no, they were probably just full-time trucks at that point. Sprague, Skinner, Park. Man, I'm really trying. Johnny Benson was probably full trucks at that point. Allgaier? I don't know. No. Looking back at the chat. Ambrose? I don't think he was around yet. Oh, never mind. Yeah, Ambrose was in the 21. All right. It's a good pull. Sadler wasn't in the 21. He was in the 19. Sadler's in the 21, the early 2000s. Yeah, that was way before. That was before Ricky Rudd. Nemechek, yeah, Nemechek is probably on here. Front Row Joe and Front Row Motorsports, of course. It makes sense. Surprised I didn't think of that sooner. Schrader was the other one of the 21. Yeah, thank you for that. I do remember that now that you mention it. Oh, no, Schrader was in the 70. Well, he was on the list. Hunt Brothers 70 was Ken Schrader. Who's in the 21 then? There you got John Wood. Marcus Ambrose was a good pull. I don't think Jerry Nadeau. No, because he had a career-ending injury in 03. So he's not going to be on here. 2008. Got the 84 car. Who had the Red Bull car? If it's not Scott Speed. I swear it was Speed and Vickers. Vickers was on here. Speed was not. Then we got the 96, which wasn't Tony Raines, and I put Tony Raines on here in the 21. Like, those are the only cars we're missing here. We only got 20 seconds. They're not going to get them all. Came so close yet again. It's frustrating how close we are. I got McDowell already. It's in the 00. Well, here's a moment of truth. We did beat the average score, 94%. Average score is 51. J.J. Yaley was in the 96 at that time. Why? I don't remember that at all. A.J. Allmendinger. Oh, the Dinger. I totally forgot. I forgot A.J. drove for Red Bull Racing. And Bill Elliott was the other Wood Brothers guy. That must have been like the Daytona 500 or something. I remember him running the 500 until like 2011. Because that race Trevor Bayne was in, like Bill Elliott was still in the Cup Series. Like I was like, what the heck was he still doing here? But yeah, he ran the 500 that year. But yeah, so Bill Elliott probably ran like the 500 in the 21 car or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have gotten around to Bill Elliott. I'll tell you that much. Him at the Wood Brothers, they didn't feel right. But yeah, I can't believe I forgot about the Dinger at Red Bull. Kind of ashamed about that. Blast from the past, that is. And J.J. Yaley in the 96, I guess I kind of remember it, but I mean, he's been around for a while, so I'm surprised I didn't circle around to just guessing him. I didn't realize Tony Raines was out of that car that soon. What is this? This is trivia, because we are waiting out a rain delay currently for the Coke 600. So while we're waiting the race to get back going again, the jet dryers are out drying the track, doing trivia to pass time. So we'll go NASCAR again. This is on Sporkle.com, where we're doing all this trivia. We've done really well tonight. The first 3 quizzes, I will say. Missing word, cup winners A to Z. 22. No, I don't like that. It's too easy.
And lightning earlier, and then that storm system moved through.
Hold on.
What remained was really heavy humidity. NASCAR's had jet dryers. They've had their track drying system, the Air Titans out there, and have made little progress. So what we're looking at is the possibility of it taking well into the early morning hours to get this track dry, get rid of the standing water, and make it raceable again. So the Coca-Cola 600 is official.
Oh.
Christopher Bell is the winner, his 8th career win, and The thing that really impressed me about his drive was how he would come off turn 2 in that high lane and he would just yard whoever he exited the corner with and on to victory.
Well, they needed this win because they've had a rough several weeks, and to be able to rebound and do the things that they did tonight to keep themselves up front, lead a bunch of laps, put them where we all think they should be with the performance of their cars. And tonight they were in position when the race had the rain delay and were able to wind up in victory lane.
Man, it leaves me halfway through this race. You know, it's official, obviously, but there were so many coulda, woulda, shouldas. Look at the 45 of Tyler Reddick. Started at the back, was headed to the front, right there, knocking on the door. Brad Keselowski, RFK cars, they continued their speed that they've had and showed first at Kansas Speedway, then at Darlington. Those cars are very fast, but it doesn't matter. It's Christopher Bell in victory lane.
Well, William Byron was the best of the Chevrolets tonight.
That car got a little bent off kilter, steering off just a little bit. Were they going to fix it? Were they going to try to ride it out? We'll never know. Ty Gibbs, first career pole, led a bunch of laps at the start of this race. Big night for him. A lot of stories.
Yeah, and that's really how this race is, right? You see a lot of people start the race good. You see a lot of people make positions up at the end of this race. We never got to see the end of this race to see how all that cycled out. We started to see a little chink in the armor with the 24 after he hit the wall. He got loose, but they kept themselves up in the front.
We're missing a story, guys.
Which story?
The 5 car. Larson was going to get in that car if this thing happened to go green again. And that car, that thing I speak of, was extremely fast. Justin Allgaier did a fantastic job in that car tonight, filling in for him. Had that thing run, what was 12th, 13th place there? I think Kyle could have got in that thing and possibly won this thing from the back, but we'll never know. Doesn't matter. Here's a look at the top 10. We discussed the first corner. Denny Hamlin, 5th, had a lot of issues.
All right, well, yeah, we'll just go through the finishing order here. 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 7 seconds was the total race time. Of course, that was not including the red flag that we've had for almost 2 hours now. We've been under red for almost 2 hours before they finally called it. Wish they would have called it sooner if we would have known this. I get NASCAR's trying to get it in, but it does seem a little ridiculous that you wait 2 hours in the middle of the night to call the race. But yeah, Christopher Bell is your race winner. His second win of the season. His first since Phoenix in the 4th race of the year. Brad Keselowski, a runner-up again. He's finished top 2 in 4 of the last 5 races, and a runner-up in 3 of which. Coming off the win in Darlington, of course, 2 weeks ago, which was the last points-paying race, but Brad K ends up finishing 2nd. William Byron 3rd, highest finishing Chevy there. And then a lot of Toyotas behind him. Tyler Reddick finishes 4th. Denny Hamlin 5th. Ty Gibbs from the pole finishes 6th. Chase Elliott with a 7th place finish. That was my pick to win. Ross Chastain 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. Josh Berry rounds out the top 10. If they get an interview with Christopher Bell, you'll get to listen into that in victory lane. I think they're working on trying to get his car there for the moment. Go through the rest of the finishing order here quickly. First, well, no, never mind. Regan Smith is already caught up with Christopher Bell.
You were fast all day long, Christopher. Get yourself to the front. You get to the end of the race. Happens before the rain comes. Did you know those were the moments that was going to be the most important battle at the end?
Knew that there was going to be a chance of it. Can the boys in the booth hear me right now? Yes, you're shaking your head, yes. So I'm literally on the couch, like half asleep, right? And we're going through this radioactive stuff, and I am already like mentally prepared to go racing. And then all of a sudden we come on, we see Mike Harvick and Clint in the booth. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? They start talking, and I'm like, what? And the phone goes off and say they called it. So what a twist of emotions, man. I have never been through that emotion swing before in my life.
Well, at least you were quick on the track. You were quick to get over here to victory lane after being half asleep on this weekend where we honor and remember so many with the names of the phones on the windshields of these race cars. You've won a lot of races, but how special is this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is everything. We had TK on the windshield, Thomas Kennedy, and unfortunately, the Kennedy family just left. So that's disappointing that they couldn't stay for victory lane. But I'm very, very proud and honored to carry their name on the windshield. And Memorial Day weekend, it's not about racing. It's about honoring and remembering. And I'm just thankful that those who have served allowed us to do what we love to do on this Sunday evening. So I can't thank all the guys at Ream enough. All of our partners at Ream, DeWalt, Toyota, Yahoo. They deserve this. It's been a heck of a trying 8 weeks or so, and to get our second win of the year means a lot.
You mentioned that trying 8 weeks or so. How far behind you is that now after a night like tonight?
Man, it feels so good to win or lose, just to have a great race to go off of, right? And a race that we led laps. We were able to pass cars. We lost the lead at times. We were able to drive back to the lead and had great pit stops. My pit crew just showed up, so let's go! Let's go! Yes, this is a team effort, and it was amazing to have a good race. And hopefully, this is something we can build on and get back to being more consistent.
Enjoy the celebration. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Regan.
Well, there you have it. Late night here on the Coca-Cola 600, waiting out about a 2-hour red flag before finally calling it the checkered flag. We'll wave at lap 249 of 400, but we are past the scheduled distance. We did not get to the end of stage 3, 4-stage race, so Christopher Bell is going to be the stage 3 winner and the race winner, and he did win stage 2 as well, so it looks like 7 playoff points on the night for Bell. Not sure where he finished in stage 1 just because I did not make it to the stream until lap 150, so really we only had about 100 laps of live commentary action of this race on the channel. I apologize for that, but we did get the full Indy 500 in earlier today. It's just the way things worked out, the way the rain was, both in this race and the delay of the Indy 500 by 4 hours. We'll go through the full finishing order again here. Christopher Bell with the win. Margin of victory, of course, would be under caution at lap 249 of 400. Brad Keselowski finishes second. William Byron third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Denny Hamlin in fifth. Sixth for Ty Gibbs. Chase Elliott seventh. Ross Chastain eighth. Alex Bowman ninth. Josh Berry 10th. Bubba Wallace in 11th, Martin Truex Jr. 12th, Justin Allgaier 13th. Great job for him today. Joey Logano in 14th and Kyle Busch 15th. Michael McDowell 16th, Todd Gilliland 17th, Daniel Hemrick 18th, Eric Jones 19th, and Austin Cindric 20th. Carson Hocevar 21st, Justin Haley 22nd, Chris Buescher 23rd, Daniel Suarez 24th, and Chase Briscoe 25th. 26th for Ryan Preece, Austin Dillon 27th, Shane Van Gisbergen 28th, Jimmy Johnson 29th, John Hunter Nemechek 30th. 31st was Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Harrison Burt 32nd, 33rd for Zane Smith, Kaz Grella 34th, Corey LaJoie 35th, 35 cars finished on the lead lap. Ty Dillon 2 laps down at 36, BJ McLeod 8 laps down at 37, 3 cars DNF today. Noah Gragson finishes 38th, 39th for Ryan Blaney, and 40th was JJ Yaley in this full 40-car field here today. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Hopefully get our leaderboard back up. Nope. I don't know what I did there. We'll go through the predictions, how those ended up then. And then we'll get out of here once we get through the Fantasy League stuff. So the predictions ended up actually being really good despite this being a rain-short race. All three of the must-haves finished in the top 10. Byron 3rd, Reddick 4th, and Elliott 7th. Elliott was my win pick. And I said it was going to be a coin flip between him and Byron for my pick, but I went with Elliott just because he had better average finish on the season, more consistent lately, and the mile-and-a-half tracks have been better for him this year than Byron. But Byron gets the better finish of them here today, but still 3 for 3 there. And even Chastain, I had said a top 10, kind of grouped him as a sleeper / must-have pick, and he finished his top 10 and 8, so 4 for 4 on those picks. 1 for 2 on the sleeper picks. Ty Gibbs finished 6th. He was one of which started on the pole, led 75 laps. Good finish. And then Noah Gragson, unfortunately, 38th place finish at the end of things here today. The don't have list, I was right there, 3 for 3, perfect sweep. On that list, Ryan Blaney, I had not finishing in the top 10. He finishes 39th on the DNF, had a tire issue. Daniel Suarez, 24th, has not finished in the top 10 and now 8 career Coke 600 starts. And Joey Logano is now 1 for his last 8 and getting a top 10 finish in the Coke 600 as he finishes 14th today. So really, really good weekend with the predictions, considering I was 8 of 9 with my predictions in this race for guys finishing top 10 or not finishing top 10, and I predicted Joseph Newgarden to win the Indy 500 earlier today, so I'm still pumped about that. Yeah, what a great day with the predictions. Really, with the bonus point, I guess it would have went, 10 and 1 on my predictions today. Couldn't get much better. I mean, it's hard to get the clean sweep, especially with 2 races going on, not just one. But pretty solid job there. So while Fox is off the air with the race coverage now, I will go to the Fantasy League because that was a thing today. Didn't get to highlight it in a pre-race show with the lengthy Indy 500. But we'll see where we ended up. Pulling that up on my phone. You can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website or NASCAR mobile app. Go to the quick link section at the top of the screen, as you see right here, where my cursor is at. There will be a Fantasy Live tab. Click on it, sign up with your email, free to join. Chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race of your choosing the following season if you win our regular season and or playoff championship. Again, KRC League in all caps, space, capital L on League. So let's go KRC League. Put it in the chat real quick. Boom, there you go. That's where you wanna go. Are your Max talking right now? Oh, they were on commercial. I was thinking that they were done. That's all right. We're still live here. Going through the fantasy league, I have Byron on my team, Gibbs, Reddick, Elliott, Truex. And I think Truex is the only one that didn't finish with the top 10. Truex was 12th. But he had more stage points than Chastain. Really, they scored the most. They tied for points anyway. So, yeah, I didn't leave any points in my garage. That's good. Truex, Chastain each had 7 starts for him. So, got one less for Truex, I guess, technically going forward. I had Byron over Allgaier, who was originally Byron over Larson, but I knew Larson wasn't probably going to run this race. So, kind of a freebie point there. But Allgaier did get the transition into that. Byron still beats him. Stenhouse over Johnson. Johnson actually beat him by 2 positions. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that with Johnson not running full time, but he has ran several ovals this season, so outran Ricky Stenhouse tonight. Jimmy Johnson ends up finishing 29th to Stenhouse's 31st. I had Busch beating Blaney because Blaney was one of my don't haves, and I had Reddick beating Logano, with Logano being one of my don't haves and Reddick being a must have. So 3 for 4 on that side of things tonight. I have a feeling I won this week. Just because my team felt really good. Wow, I was 9th. I'm surprised. P-Shat Motorsports gets the win with 255 points for a Coke 600 on a late Sunday night Memorial Day weekend. Hercules Harrigan finishes second with 248 points. Frank T26 with 244 in third rather. Monster Jam X10, 235, tied for fourth with Shrine at 1974. That is your top 5 in the order. PCI Motorsports had Bell, Byron, Bowman, Elliott, Gibbs, all top 8 point scorers today. And had the same bonus points as me, 3 for 4, same exact picks there. So, I mean, I ended up finishing with 222 points in 9th, tied for 9th with Nathan Daniel Powers. So, kind of bad week for me. Didn't finish that many points off. Honestly, looking at it on paper, I thought I would have won. That extra stage would have been nice. Not having Bell on my team, I think, was a difference maker there. If I would have had Bell instead of like a Truex who finished 11th in points scored and 12th in the race, I think that could have been the difference of me getting the win this week. But needless to say, that is going to wrap up our live commentary stream here tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in through both the Indy 500 and Coke 600 live commentary streams. The Indy 500 stream was delayed 4 hours. We didn't get started till 4:30 Eastern time. We've been streaming ever since because, of course, that bled into the start of the Coke 600. And I apologize again. It's just the way things worked out this week, and there's really nothing I could have done. It was either I wasn't going to be able to do the Indy 500 at all because I wasn't going to stream the first half of the race and not stream the second half, or I did the entire Coke 600. I felt that it was better for me to do all of the Indy 500 and then bleed into the 600 because, in my personal opinion, the Indy 500 is the biggest race in motorsports. That's the reason why I do the one-off IndyCar race with the Indy 500 the last couple seasons now with these live commentary streams. So I wanted that to be the full race if I had to pick between the two of them. And because if it would have been like the back half of the race, and then if I could only stream the back half for whatever reason, and then the full Coke 600, like that would have been an option, but it just wouldn't have been an option because the back half of the race literally was the start of the 600. So yeah, it's just the way things worked out. It kind of stinks for me personally because it did hurt the viewership this week, which might hurt the algorithm a bit. So be sure to hit that like button. It still helps me out a ton. Go back, hit the like button on the Indy 500 stream from earlier as well, if you didn't do so there. So appreciate the support as always. I did get a super chat earlier in the Indy 500 stream, so thanks for that again. For Cerebral Assassin sent that out But yeah, long day of streaming, over 7 hours. Again, we did that at Kansas. Only this one was 2 streams. I knew it was going to be a long day. Honestly, it ended up being about the same length when you consider the fact we stood here an extra 2 hours. That would have been probably the full length of the 600 if I was able to stream the full 600. So, yeah, we ended up getting about 7 hours of racing in today, which would have been normal whether it rained or not. So that's the amount of streaming we did. It was just varied times. Hopefully next year, we don't have this issue again. Last year we didn't have an issue with overlap, but the 600 did get rained out Sunday night and they had to run Monday. So it's 2 years in a row we've had rain with the Coke 600 weekend. So hopefully, again, next year runs clean. But we can actually do the double on the same day with the commentary. But appreciate it, everybody. Next week's live commentary streams, I guess there is one more thing I have to go through, is next week's streaming schedule. NASCAR Cup Series heads to Gateway in St. Louis. The Truck Series will also be in St. Louis at Gateway, while the Xfinity Series has their first standalone race on at Portland on Saturday. So a Truck Xfinity doubleheader Saturday. Truck Series live commentary stream at Gateway at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Right after the finish of that, the Xfinity race will be at 4:30 Eastern at Portland. Those will literally be like back to back, not a lot of rest in between streams, kind of like today. But that is because, again, they are two completely different racetracks, so it's not like they have to wait for all the truck teams to get out of there, tear down, whatever. That won't be a thing. So again, Portland for the Xfinity Series, 4:30 Eastern next Saturday afternoon, 1:30 Eastern Saturday afternoon at Gateway for the Truck Series are our live commentary streams there. On Sunday, for the Gateway race, we will go live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, 3 p.m. Eastern, Gateway on Sunday. Now, Saturday's a triple header. I mentioned the Truck and Xfinity races already. Cup practice and qualifying will be early in the morning. Our earliest start time to a stream yet this year, 9:30 a.m. We've had a couple 10:30 a.m. start times. This will be 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So 9:30 Eastern, Cup practice qualifying Saturday morning right here on the channel. So we'll have from 9:30, the Xfinity race probably won't get over until about 7. We'll have from 9:30 in the morning to 7 at night Saturday, all NASCAR content, live commentary streams. That'll be a long one, but hope to see you for that. And then hope to see you Sunday as well for the live commentary stream at Gateway for the Cup Series. Again, that will be at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only other stream between now and then is NASCAR 07. I plan on doing a stream tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard start time. It'll be a Busch Series race at Daytona with late season standing implications on the line there between Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart. Good battle. Again, Daytona NASCAR 7 tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time will be the start of that. That will be our next stream, but I already mentioned all the live commentary stuff for next week, and that's where we'll leave off. Thank you, everybody, for watching today's coverage of both the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. Congratulations to Joseph Newgarden for winning his second consecutive Indy 500 earlier. And also congratulations to Christopher Bell for winning this rain-shortened Coke 600 here tonight. Thank you, everybody. Again, have a good rest of your night.